What's going on, everybody? We're back. We got a guest with us tonight. We got Bob Frapples in on the show with us. Been a long time coming, taking a good month or so since we talked about doing it, and finally here.
Who are you?
I'm Steven.
I'm Bradley.
And I'm the guy sitting on Bradley's lap, not talking about the first thing that pops up. I'm Bob Frapples. How are you guys today?
Doing great. How about you?
Not too bad,
man.
Yeah. So for those of you that don't know, I don't know how you wouldn't know, but Bob does his own
I'm
softball
the guy
podcast.
sitting on Bradley's lap, not talking about the first thing.
One of the few people that caught my attention in the Northwest. So for those of you that don't, this first
how you wouldn't know, but
became an idea for me to do. Does his own back then. It didn't call podcast.
Bradley's lap, not talking about
one
the
of
first
the show was something I checked out every week. Caught my attention in the Northwest.
For those of you that don't,
get him first.
how you wouldn't know, but
it became an idea for me to do sports. Does his own back then. It didn't call podcast.
I'm just happy he's one of the 6 people that watch the week.
Show was something I checked out every week. Caught my attention in the Northwest. So yeah, we got pretty much a laundry list of the 6 people to go through. Shows Bob sent in pretty good questions. Some past, some future, some present. So yeah, we got pretty much a laundry list of the 6 people to go through. Shows Bob sent in. I think this is pretty good questions. Some past, some
my wife says that. Anyone that's coming in,
I hope the audio is not too much. I already dropped one joke.
My wife says seriously.
Oh,
And the audio is horrible.
yeah. I should fix it.
All right, is everything sounding good right now?
Okay, there we go. I think we're
I think we're good now.
Much apologies.
Everyone said audio is all messed up. That's crazy.
Oh, we're good.
All right. It's just one click away.
I forgot to turn the desktop audio off.
All right,
The
so what we
Mariners
start
game going
with-
on in the background.
Oh no.
All right. Sweet.
Okay.
See, always something's got to go wrong.
Yeah, seriously. We were just talking about this before we got on. It's like, all right, Bob, something happens before every show that like we need to fix, and then.
Well, and I even took care of all your guys' superstitions. Like, I went and took a shot with you guys. I've already knocked down a beer with you guys. Thought for sure is going to be on pace. And then, of course, JP Crawford probably popping up to the pitcher was playing over me trying to talk. So
Yeah.
So,
Definitely.
what you guys miss? Steven, Bradley, Bob, we're going to talk sports.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Exactly.
So let me pull the list of questions up here for us to go through.
don't worry, boys. I'm by far from a professional either. I've had like a dog knock over my tripod during a show. And
Yeah,
I have a
little
cat
kitty cat
that
last night, didn't
meows
you?
all the time.
Yeah.
Not the right type of cat that meows at me anyway. So.
All right, so the first question you sent to me was, this is going back a couple.
Let's tell them what type of questions these are.
Okay, so you're the one who did it. You tell them what type of question.
Okay, so I watch the boys' show all the time, and I appreciate their insights. And basically I'm a big time drinker, softball player. So like when I go to a tavern, I kind of wrote down all the questions that we talk about when the boys are just sitting in a pub talking about Northwest sports. And I thought when Steven talked to him about coming and doing the show, I was like, how about I write these questions down and I hit the two boys from Top Left Sports on these questions and see what their answers are, because you know, if I'm being honest, most of the guys sitting drinking with me in a tavern are old farts.
Yeah.
So
Well,
this is kind of what these are.
We're getting there. I'm gonna be 26 in 2 weeks.
26 in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Gonna be. I'm already 26.
I would give my left and right nut to be your guys' ages.
Okay, but I got 3 kids, so I feel like I'm an old fuck.
You got some special nuts on you yourself.
Exactly.
All right. So we got some bar style questions we're gonna go through tonight. We got 10 of them plus a couple more that I came up with. So this first one, we're gonna take you back a couple months. What does it take for you to trade Russell Wilson if you were the GM of the Seahawks?
Oh, just remember, like 2 months ago, like looking on your Facebook every day, it's like Russell Wilson's talking about blah blah blah. He's mad about blah blah blah. Oh my god, it made me so irritated to see that every single day. But like, so okay, what would it really take for us to trade Russell Wilson?
So when I started going over this question in my head for like 3 days, it came to me in like different scenarios, right? If we're taking Russell Wilson today, it's gonna be, I mean, to me, it would have to be another high caliber quarterback, plus like a first and a second, or a first and like 2/3, because obviously you want to profit off the trade. Plus, I mean, you got to put into the fact that Russell Wilson has. I think we're taking that out of the picture in the question.
Yeah.
The second scenario for me would be Russell Wilson has to have 2 bad back-to-back seasons, or 2 seasons. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I get it. 2
seasons in a row where he just plays like complete shit.
Yeah.
You know, like isn't the same Russell Wilson. Whatever the case is, too many interceptions, bad completion rating, whatever it is, for you to bring up the trade idea again. Case maybe.
Yeah.
You know?
So on my notes, the first thing is I got said a guaranteed quarterback. Like you don't want to go into the season with it has to be a guaranteed quarterback, but also like so you're thinking as like a trade perspective. I'm thinking of like long term hitting the soundproof back there. Long term, like if we were gonna get rid of Russell Wilson, I don't know what we're gonna get as a quarterback. If we don't get a guaranteed quarterback, whatever, but we have to have a LOB type defense. There can't be like you're thinking of like, oh, we need a round 2, round whatever. I'm thinking like if we don't have a great quarterback like Russell Wilson is, we need something that's gonna get us on the other end where we don't need to score like 40 points. Like
what if you get like a quarterback and a defensive player out of it too, but no draft pick? Like what if you got, not saying it was to ever happen, but like a quarterback plus like a Tyrann Mathieu level player, high level safety or DB, somewhere where Seattle's been struggling, like, trying to find that shut down number 1 DB or a good safety other than Jamal Adams.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like it's hard to see Seattle without Russell right now, just because.
I mean, I don't think it's ever gonna happen.
But like, I would have to see if I'm not gonna have one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now. I want something that's gonna be on the long end, like the defense that's gonna help us out. So,
what do you think?
So when I think of Russell Wilson, I just look at the pros and the cons. So the pros is he's won a Super Bowl for Seattle. He is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. I think he's probably right at number 5.
Probably at 5.
Yeah.
The cons are I know he has a goal sheet, because I've seen like the Michael Robinson show and stuff where they almost showed a picture of his goal sheet and he hit it as quick as he could. And I'm almost positive that do not have more than 10 interceptions on that goal sheet, because you can see it in his play.
Yeah.
As soon as he hits 9, he doesn't try to throw tight in a groove at all.
Yeah.
And last year, I can honestly say that maybe 3 or 4 of his interceptions were hit guys in the numbers and it bounced up in the air.
Yeah.
So, you know, to me, he just hasn't been the same since Golden Tate took his girl. And so I just think he lost a little bit of confidence there.
Oh, wow.
And then, you know, Sierra doesn't want to be here in the Northwest. To me, that's a slap in the face.
Yeah.
he wants to go somewhere else. Let him. Now the price still needs to be up there because he's not Deshaun Watson. You know, he's not getting massages all over town and rolling over. So
well, they come out a couple years after the fact, so.
Yeah, we won't.
Deshaun's in his prime right now, and these massages are coming out. So, you know, him and Robert Kraft are probably, you know, booking joints.
Hanging out on the
So, you know, he's whistle clean. You got to love that in your franchise player. He wants to go somewhere else. You get the price has to be right, and so
gotta be big.
What bummed me out is if it's true where the Bears offered the first and second round pick and then 2 defensive starters. And a defense that is, to me, the furthest thing from the LOB.
Yeah.
And that Bears defense has been pretty stingy the last couple of years, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was the asking price. That's just me, though. Now, I know I just got a text from one of my buddy's wives. I know she's watching. And if he hears this, he's going to get on here and say I'm a moron. But defenses win championships.
Yeah,
I mean,
in
that's
the NFL.
the thing that everyone says. So.
Everybody loves Tom Brady, and I think he's the GOAT too.
Yeah.
But the GOAT, that Tampa Bay defense rolling through the playoffs was really stingy.
Yeah.
And that's just my opinion on it, man. We got to go defense first, just like we did. Russell was a rookie and beat Matt Flynn out. Let's not forget that.
No,
he wasn't.
I bring it up all the time.
I'm wearing Matt Flynn's jersey to this point with the name ripped off of it. And then I was going to put Curse on the back, and then he got shipped out before because I'm lazy.
I still have a Curse jersey.
At the parade, it said pedestrian on the back. But to me, you gotta. If a guy wants out, and you know at home the family wants out, you gotta let him out. But you gotta make sure he gets paid for what he's worth. And
but how bad does he really like? If we're taking it from like what would we take to like realistically? Does he really want out though? Because he's came out and said in the last couple of weeks that he's fully committed to Seattle and he can stay here.
That's the stuff that gets paid, man.
But
From what I've heard from people that are inside that VMAX center, that it's a 180 from what you see in the public.
But he's what? Yeah. He's the 3rd highest paid quarterback in the league or something right now, or 4th?
Yeah, you gotta be happy with that.
Yeah.
But I think he wants more than one Super Bowl win too.
Oh, No, I agree.
I mean, you got to be mad if you're him, but you also got to be.
But your choice to do that is to go to Chicago or the Jets.
Yeah, that ain't gonna win you a Super Bowl.
Like,
John Gruden with the Raiders.
I mean, Raiders. Yeah, I like.
But the thing with the Raiders is like, I don't think the quarterback's the problem down. I think Derek Carr's not a bad quarterback. I mean, he's not a top 5, but I mean, he's got 10? The potential to make a run. But when you got the Chiefs and an up-and-coming Chargers team in your division, I mean, you pretty much have to win your division to have a shot.
Yeah. Like I said, it's kind of up in there. Who knows what is fact and what's fiction? Except for the Golden Tate comment I made.
That's definitely fact.
But it's one of those things where you just got to see what
it all plays out.
How it all plays out. But to me, like I said, Russell was a welcome surprise. But the goal with that was to build a stingy defense, and they had the LOB, and we all saw what the LOB did to Peyton Manning in that Super Bowl.
Oh yeah.
Like I have right here, an LOB type defense.
Right. Yeah. You have to.
You need it.
And that's.
But I think it needs to be built before you do that trade. You don't trade for someone hoping that it.
Hoping you get an LOB defense. Yeah, I get it.
We thought, Quentin Dunbar and Jamal Adams and with Griffin and all. We thought that was like, we're starting LOB all over again.
Yeah.
And the second half of the year, that was not the case.
Yeah. No, I mean, but realistically for me, I don't see a reason trading Russell. So like this question I would throw it out of the window because I don't want to trade him. But if I had to, it's definitely a guaranteed QB that's gonna at least do all right for us, and then
even with a bad defense, you got a chance to go. Even with a bad,
we've seen that before.
Yeah,
we've seen it,
and we've seen the Seahawks make the playoffs at 5 and beat the defending.
With touch, no, that was touchdown Jesus that year, wasn't it?
What?
I don't think that was Russell. I thought that was Charlie Whitehurst.
Russell.
No, that wasn't Russell Wilson. No, that was. I'm just saying we've seen him go we seen them go 500 and it won the division,
Right.
and you hosted the returning Super Bowl champion Saints, and you beat them with Beastquake.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
With
Yeah.
Hasselbeck and
Yeah, I don't know if it was
It was Charlie Whitehurst.
Yeah,
Was it Whitehurst?
Yeah.
It was Whitehurst. Yeah.
Because that game, Whitehurst, I don't even think threw a ball downfield. He threw screen passes and handed it off.
Run, boy, run.
Just get it. Okay.
But yeah, I'm a big Russell Wilson fan. Like Malia, my girlfriend, she hates Russell Wilson. So we argue. Any like incomplete pass, she's like, "I told you he sucks," and I'm like, "What the fuck? That was a double coverage. Like, get out of here."
Yeah.
But
you got to get rid of that long ball, but other than that,
not now. Not
Well,
with that boy we drafted
I think
and ZK, that deep
yeah,
ball's gonna become even more.
but just trying it so much. We're getting off on tangents here, but
The two things
I mean,
about
that's what we do.
the two things about Russ that, and one of them was not even about Russ, but it's about just Northwest fans, is that I think we hold on to our heroes a little too long before they've expired.
Yeah.
So like King Felix, for example. And
Oh.
it's not fair to King
Everyone
Felix because we
held
were
on to
literally
him.
on the back end of when we traded. It was a few years before, but we traded Randy Johnson, and we get Freddie Garcia, Carlos Guillen, and John Halama. 3 big-time factor players when the Mariners had a great season and drew down the road. And then you watch Freddie, and we take him all the way down the line until we release him. Felix.
Yeah.
And so I'm just looking in my head. People are going to be like, "Yeah, Russell's the man," and he is the man. But we can get 2 top-tier defensive starters and maybe
Before
another
he
one in the draft or an
completely
offensive lineman
flatlines, yeah.
before he flatlines. And you know, it's one of those sayings in the back of my mind. I'm just like, when you got a quarterback that makes that much money and costs that much, are you ever going to have an offensive line to protect them?
Probably not.
You got to pay those guys.
That's what I talk about all the time. Is like, I don't understand the NFL. Like, how has the NFL not learned? Tom Brady could have been the highest paid highest paid player in the league almost his entire career, you know, but he didn't. He wanted a Super Bowl winning team around him and let those guys get paid. He was still making the money in endorsements and incentives and that stuff. But it's like, it's the principle. Why are you chasing this big dollar contract when, yeah, you're probably going to make a little less, but you're still going to make millions and millions of dollars a year.
Yeah.
You're going to win Super Bowls. Like, I just don't get how professional sports has not. And he's doing it down in Tampa Bay now, too.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some external factors there, too. Like, maybe 5'8" guys don't look good in their underwear. Or, like, 6'3" guys like Tom do.
Yeah.
That Calvin Klein's probably where the money's at, so.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Anyways.
All right, you guys ready for the next one?
Number 2.
Well, I told you before the show, we get off on these tangents where we just talk.
No, that's great, man.
That's a 17-minute conversation right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
5 of it was working out those sound problems, but
all right. So the second question on here is Gonzaga basketball considered an elite program with no national championship?
This one people get hot about, so.
So this is a two-part answer for me again too. So I'm gonna start with yes because it's gonna take longer than my no.
Okay.
So my yes is gonna be because when it comes to March, they always have a chance always have a chance to make the Elite Eight. Usually a chance at the Final Four. Some people would say a chance at the national championship. Okay, they have since 1995. They've won the WCC, the West Coast Conference, 19 times. And the last time they didn't was 19 in 2012, and those were both to St. Mary's. So since 95, that's what, I was born in 95, 26 years ago, they've won their conference 19 times in the last 26 years. So that, I mean, that's an automatic bid into the tournament right there alone, no matter if you win it by a game or whatever the case may be. So I think having that perspective, that recruitment style, being able to say, you know, come here, you're going to make it to the tournament pretty much no matter what, as long as we play solid basketball, makes them an elite program recruiting-wise. But my no They don't have any national championships, and that's it. Period. So no, they're not an elite because how many times have they been there? Not. I mean, even this last year against Baylor. I mean, Baylor was outsized, outsmarted, and faster than them. But I mean, how can you be considered an elite program in a country and have no national championships? That's like saying I don't even know what college football team has a championship.
That is up there every year.
That's
The
like,
Oregon Ducks.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Yeah. So, but people consider the Ducks an elite program, right?
They shouldn't.
Yeah.
A lot of people do though.
If you want to consider an elite program in the Northwest, that'd be the UW Dogs. But go Dogs. The reason there's a Pac-12 is because of the UW Dogs.
Yeah. But that's my opinion on Gonzaga. Bradley probably doesn't have anything to talk about.
I have nothing on college basketball,
So with Gonzaga, once they become a powerhouse, they should have left that conference.
I agree.
I give them no cred for beating ITT Tech and Western Business Law School to win there.
Have you seen their SAT scores though?
Yeah, but seriously though, the beating Western Business Law School every year to win your conference, that don't count.
Oregon Ducks 2,300 uniform combination.
That's right, baby. But anyway, yeah, I mean, like I said, it's what they're doing as far as being a Northwest university at the Division I level is impressive, but it's not elite. You know, you're not a North Carolina, you're not a Duke, you're not a even University of Houston. I think has 2 or 3 from those David Thompson days, or maybe they were just made it and they didn't win. That's even before my old ass. So. But I mean, like the Syracuses and the Georgetowns, and you're just not elite. You got to win it. And do I think they're probably going to win 2 or 3 very soon? Absolutely. But you're not elite until you win it.
Yeah. But speaking of Gonzaga, their men's baseball team is ranked nationally right now too. I don't know how much. I know you don't follow college baseball. I don't know.
Don't
if you
look at me for this.
But they're ranked like in the top 15 or something like that right now. I want to say.
See, and that's pretty nuts too. But at the same time, I mean, they're University of Portland. Don't get me wrong. When we played them, they were good squads. But you know, the NAIA is where I finished out.
Yeah,
and we'd beat those guys all the time.
Yeah, it's college baseball is something different. There's at one point, I swear, the entire SEC was in the top 25 this year, and it was like, what the? I mean, don't get me wrong. The SEC is the best baseball conference in the nation. You know,
that's football one too.
I'm not trying to knock on that, but it's like, how do the rankings actually go? Because, like, the schools that say Gonzaga say they have a top team in the nation, but the schools that they play, like St. Mary's and stuff like that, those aren't going to have top level baseball schools.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I could get going on college baseball right now, but we'll keep to the script. Is the thrill of high school sports representing your hometown done? High school football and pitching prospects, sitting out seniors.
So can I jump in this one before we
go?
Yeah,
pop on.
Yep. So this question is one of the big ones we debate because as a high school, I've coached high school baseball for a few years. I don't coach it anymore. But there's been a trend now where a kid with, you know, what I would essentially call a $1 million arm, he's going to go in the top 3 rounds of the draft, will sit out for his high school and just be with like a pitching consultant where he'll go and throw a 30 to 60 pitch bullpen within a heated facility. Yeah. He won't even touch a high school baseball field anymore. So essentially, like all the kids that have played with him coming up through the ranks, you know, he's pretty much saying, screw you guys that help get me better and whatnot. Yeah. I'm going to go put my arm in isolation until the draft because, you know, I could be a guy that's going to garner $2 to $3 million signing bonus. So that's kind of where I'm coming with that question is I've seen so many kids sit out. I mean, we got college kids sitting out of bowl games. Yeah. If they're not in a national championship.
That
and so it's trickled down to high school. Obviously with COVID, these kids played in the spring. There were top prospects that sat out the spring football season. Where do you think it's headed?
So, again, this is kind of one of those things that for me, it can not go different ways, but like how you get to this point, right? So back when I was young, back when I was
So young.
you know, back in the day, it seemed like, you grew up playing sports with the same. There's like a group of like 6 or 7 kids that usually played on all the same teams together. So like my soccer team growing up, we had the same probably 8 kids the 7 of 8 years we played together. So when we went to high school, there was 4 of us that went to the same high school, and we all vibed together. It seems nowadays, with all the different select programs and all the different organizations, like everyone wants to build these big organizations sports now, and it separates all these kids. You got kids. I know someone who coaches fast pitch who says he knows of a girl whose parents drive her 2.5 hours round trip to go to practice 4 times a week. I'm like, what's wrong with the fast pitch in your area? A half hour, within a half hour drive or something like that. So I feel like that could be part of it with where you're coming from, where you're like, oh, screw you guys or whatever, like that, I guess, emotional connection isn't there. But at the same time, at what age are these kids not getting like agents, but getting guidance from saying like, hey, like you said, you got $1 million arm. Don't go out there and throw it out your senior year and have to get Tommy John, and then you drop to like a 15th, or not even get drafted, have to go play 4 years at college before you even get whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
I was never that level of a high school athlete to where I could even think about it, or even if I was, I don't think it would have ever crossed my mind. But it seems like over the last probably 4 to 5 years, from my perspective, you're definitely seeing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the bowl game thing drives me out. Fucking.
Yeah.
You're on a full ride. That's just like when all this COVID stuff happened and all these players were opting out. It's like, okay, so do other kids get your scholarship since you're opting out? What about the kids that was the kid on the practice squad that's paying to go to school, paying for all this stuff, but you just decided to chill out, but you're there to play football or baseball, whatever the case may be, basketball. Just because you go into the NIT, not the NCAA tournament, you don't get to sit out. You show up and I don't know. That pisses me off.
Yeah.
When it's like, oh, they opted out of the Valero Bowl. It's like, why? What if you go off and have a big game? You just went from a 3rd round to early 2nd round draft pick, or whatever the case may be.
Those guys are usually the ones that play.
Yeah, but
it's the Christian McCaffreys and
now you're missing out on your opportunity to play. And
I mean, I get the whole getting hurt aspect and stuff like that, but
yeah, I mean, yeah, I get it because obviously it's the Willis McGahees that I think he tore up knee in the whatever Miami was in at the time. So you knew like a Christian McCaffrey's not going to play for Stanford if they're not in a national championship picture. And it's one of those things. To me, the future is never a given.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you put yourself in a bubble until you get to this specific point. So I was just curious what you guys thought. I know.
Look at him now; he's injury prone.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe if he played in that bowl game, he would have toughened
that
up.
ligament would have been a little bit stronger.
Yeah, but that's kind of where I come from. And I mean, like as soon as I quit doing this stupid slow pitch stuff, I plan on going to a small town and coaching baseball. It definitely won't be a big city. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
So it'll be a town where there's a bunch of small kids that winning a state title would be the biggest thing for the town. I'll go coach that team. But
that want to be there.
I ain't going to a city that has 5 high schools in it and thousands of kids that don't give a crap. Very good call.
This area.
That's a very good call.
Yeah.
All right. So the next question we have.
You sent in.
Greatest Seahawk, Mariner, or Blazer / Sonic all time. Take this one away. Or you want me?
You go first.
Okay.
You're the host.
So, me, I did one for each team except for the Blazers.
Right, and that's why I went Blazers / Sonic. Cause I know you guys are. Because I know I'm a Blazer guy, and I know you guys are Sonic guys.
And
so.
I did 3 for the Sonics.
Okay, yeah, I knew you would.
So for the Hawks, there's probably 15 names I could have put down, and in my mind, this guy, I don't know. For some reason, it was like he has to be number 1. Like if I did top 5 of all time, he's always going to be my number 1, and it's Walter Jones.
Good pick.
I can't. I mean, you could go with Steve Largent. I've seen some that's got like Earl Thomas in the top 5, which I don't agree with. Sean Alexander's always up there.
Do you agree with that one?
Huh?
Do you agree with that one, Sean Alexander?
In the top 5?
Top 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's
all right. I just want to make sure.
at 5.
Okay. Yeah.
But Walter Jones, 9 Pro Bowls, first team All Pro 4 times. He made the All-Decade team in the 2000s. What was our old governor's name? Christine Gregoire. She actually named April 30th Walter Jones Day. Those guys' own day. I didn't know that. I didn't. And he's one of the 3 Hawks with it retired. So, I mean, obviously there's more that goes into it, but those are some of the things that he's my number.
Okay. Yeah.
Like they should put his down.
So that leads me into your Mariners. I mean,
Mariners?
Everyone has the same Mariners. It's gonna be all time.
I bet you picked Griffey. You picked Griffey.
It's yeah. Okay, so give me your top 2 then, because you know Griffey's gonna be in your top 2.
Yeah. I put Ichiro number 1.
Okay.
That's just because I knew you were gonna pick Griffey.
Okay. So why do you pick Ichiro in your number 1?
Because he's got over 2,500 hits as a Mariner, over 3,000 all time. He was the AL Rookie of the Year and MVP in the same season. 10 All-Stars, 10 Gold Gloves, 3 Silver Sluggers, and in 2001 he stole 56 bases.
Okay, I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna say Ichiro's gonna be in the top 3 for sure. But why do you put him over Griffey?
Because I knew you were gonna pick Griffey.
Okay.
Okay. How lame would that have been if you're like, hey, I picked Griffey. Hey, I picked Griffey too.
Yeah, I picked Griffey. Yeah, I get it. But I mean, we all know.
Who would be your greatest Mariner?
I took Felix Hernandez.
Really? I thought about it.
That pains me though.
It makes sense.
No, it just pains me for the last couple of years of his run that he had. It's just like.
But you don't look at that. You don't look at.
Okay, I get it. But the last couple of years, I'm like, just give him away. Like, stop trying on him. Like, they tried him so hard.
So we have no World Series, right?
No.
So what's the greatest award you can get as a hitter?
Silver Slugger.
Yeah.
No, the MVP.
Oh, okay.
As a player, yeah. MVP.
As a position player.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the greatest award you can get as a pitcher?
Oh, yeah.
So I took Felix Hernandez. My close-up number 2 is Randy Johnson.
Randy Johnson.
That's definitely one that you cannot not say is Randy Johnson, but
I'm heavily pitcher biased.
Yeah.
But
if I had to put them in like an actual top 3 list, like Ichiro probably wouldn't be number 4. Because I'd go Griffey, Randy Johnson. Realistically,
I would put Ichiro above Felix.
So, but we're also overlooking a Hall of Famer besides Griffey. Probably the greatest DH of all time.
Edgar Martinez, yeah.
So
okay.
that's why the greatest. That's why the greatest Mariner is such an awesome bar debate, because we were sitting there having a few beers.
Yeah.
None of my friends say Ichiro, by the way, but
that was all a wild take that I got.
But the reason why I picked Ichiro, because obviously Griffey is great with the glove, great with the bat, but so is Ichiro. Everyone like. Either you remember Ichiro's arm and his plays, or you remember how he was arguably probably top 10 leadoff hitters of all time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Ichiro's so like everyone loves Ichiro. Yeah, chant his name when he hits and stuff like that. But Ichiro is easily the greatest man.
Yeah. You know, the thing
it would not surprise me if his number gets retired.
So
Just
then,
because no one wears 51.
so then flip back to the Seahawks side. There is a Super Bowl victory there.
Yeah.
You took Walter Jones. Who do you take?
I like the Super Bowl fact. Russell Wilson. I mean, he gave us our Super Bowl. Like I can say, like
He didn't give it to us. There's some other players, but yeah.
yeah, but like if you think of Super Bowl, you think, okay, who
Well,
won
our defense
MVP?
got us to that.
Yeah.
I was gonna say. So that's
Yeah,
why
okay.
like I have either Russell or Bobby Wagner.
That's a great.
He was the
pick,
captain of
too.
the LOB.
Yeah, that's a
He's-
great.
I
pick.
went through a couple different lists, and Bobby Wagner was always consistently 6. Which I think
Yeah.
I almost want to, if it wasn't for, the older Seahawks, you're like if you're thinking just modern, you're like, how was Bobby Wagner at 6? But then you remember,
He's not done playing yet.
well, that too, yeah.
But your pick, that Walter Jones is like right up there with me.
Yeah.
If Hutchinson would have stayed, he'd be right up there
yeah.
with me. But obviously, still had a great career in Minnesota after he left.
Who else was up? I don't remember a couple of the lists I looked at.
I mean, we've always
Kenny.
had Kenny Stabler, or not Stabler, Easley.
Easily, yep.
The other two safeties were short careers, but Hammer Hamlin and then Cam
I
Chancellor.
was gonna say, what about Cam?
I love Cam
It's so hard to
it's-
put him in a top 10 though because his career
of
is
his
so
career.
short.
Yeah, I get
But
it.
if you take if you were to take everyone's big season, everyone's number 1 season, it's
Easy.
like does Cam Chancellor all of a sudden?
Oh, he definitely
But
does.
then you think career, it's like okay, you're outside. Like, you
Yeah,
have to be.
that's the worst part. Is his career was so short.
So you kids aren't. I hate saying kids, but
20 we're both 26.
You guys aren't old enough. But who do you think the biggest unsung hero is in the Seahawks? He's my favorite Seahawk of all time, but who do you think that would be? Because I sat through some. I'm a Seahawk fan. I'm not a 12.
Yeah.
I don't think you guys are 12s either. You actually know players and whatnot.
Yeah.
12s to me are
People who just Seahawks jerseys.
or
Yeah.
Yeah,
highlights in your hair and
Yeah.
Seahawk eye black stickers and. Because he said large.
It's like so it's back.
Oh yeah.
So even back then,
This guy got the shit kicked out of him every weekend, but he was still a baller.
Warren?
Who?
Warren Moon?
Moon was a good player, but Dave Craig's my unsung hero.
Rhino
Okay.
commented Warren Moon as well.
Yeah, Warren Moon was a stud too, but Dave Craig, if that was late '80s.
Yeah, that's
So-
way too early for me.
Yeah, but that guy,
Yeah.
that guy had zero offensive line, and he got rocked in that era of the NFL.
Yeah.
And he'd get up and still throw some balls.
So that was punching the mouth, and it too.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
it was because I've literally sat through over 20 Seahawks quarterbacks because it literally went Jim Zorn, who was the guy that was mainly throwing the ball large, and then
Yeah.
Dave Craig,
Yep.
and then a laundry list,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and then finally Warren Moon,
And
Hasselback,
Matt,
and then
yeah.
yes, so it was.
and then a few here and there, and then Russell.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's so funny because when I like look back at like my first Seahawks experience is like growing up, like we weren't like a big like sports household at all. So getting into it, I remember like my biggest like Seahawks experience was watching Hasselbeck, and the biggest for me was Sean Alexander. I remember seeing him on the sidelines just like begging to get in that way, and like
Yeah.
when he broke the record,
Yeah.
like, so I would put him up there just for the fact that like he was like my first introduction to
I feel like
Seattle sports.
Yeah.
Growing up with no sports in our house,
I
really.
feel like when you've had a franchise like the Seahawks, where it's had ups, it's had massive ups and massive downs, and then massive ups again, and try and pick like a top 5 out of that. It's like you forget about the guys from shitty years, too.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, it's really hard to remember those guys.
That's like when
years
I'm
because it's like
sitting here thinking about it, it's like you could go modern, you could go back in the day. Trying to combine them makes you just punch yourself in the face trying to pick one person.
yeah.
So that's kind of where I ended up with like Ichiro too.
Yeah, it's the same thing with the Mariners because it's like we've had some good ups, but also a lot of downs. Like, still going on with no World Series.
And it's hard to separate like a great between
just
one of your favorite players.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, because like one of my favorite players. Well, that's actually a question later.
We'll save that.
All right, so Blazers. Who's the greatest Blazer of all time?
For me, it's Clyde Drexler. I can see how old I am now.
Like,
we're
so
just
far
gonna
away
take,
from you because I don't
we're
know.
just gonna take a nap.
Yeah, exactly.
So for me, it's Clyde the Glide Drexler. So a lot of people don't know who he is or was because he was directly in the Jordan era. He could fly just like Michael Jordan.
So overshadowed is what you're saying.
Yeah.
He wasn't overshadowed because he played his ass off and he got the Blazers into like the early 90s. They were into the playoffs a few times and even the Western Final or even the NBA Finals. But Clyde Drexler is the greatest Blazer of all. But I think when it's all said and done, it's going to be Lillard.
See, so when I started thinking, because I almost put some Blazers down, and I was like, I'm not even going to do it because, first of all, I can't elaborate on it.
Right.
Because I don't follow it enough. But obviously, Lillard came into mind, but also Brandon Roy.
Brandon Roy he blew out his knees, so his career was cut severely short.
Yeah.
He was set to be the greatest player of all time, absolutely, but his knees blew out. His career is so short.
Yeah.
But potentially, I could take Brandon Roy as potentially the Mount Rushmore question.
Yeah.
That's coming up. Because, I mean, he's born here, played at UW, played for the Blazers.
And I think that's why I'm so biased towards him.
Right.
It's like,
absolutely. He's phenomenal.
It's just like Jermaine Curse. I was like, why the fuck? Like, I still have his jersey. It's
phenomenal state athlete. I mean,
I got a couple signatures. My son, I took my son when he was like 2 to get his back signed. Jermaine Curse, like, it's just like
my brother got Logan's one signed by Casey Kane at Elmo.
I know we're going to talk about that too.
Yeah, Jermaine Curse is Lakewood, right?
Lakewood, Lakes High School.
Yeah, and then UW, and then the Seahawks. That's another one of those guys where you could almost put him on the Mount Rushmore. Yeah. But you know, there's some.
If he would have had a longer Seahawks career, I think it would have been in contention. It's like, how can you not? Yes. Homebred, playing for your hometown, like
It was like the storybook. Like, I'm gonna read.
If that was in Texas, they would have made a country song about it.
Right, that's true.
A country song, a 30 for 30. And this and that. Like, who's the R?
Who's the other NFL receiver that's from Lakes? Something Williams. He's a little older than Jermaine Curse and Casey Williams. I think, right?
I know there's.
I think it's Casey Williams.
There's a few guys in the league that. At one point,
there's three NFL receivers from Lakes, and I cannot remember the
from
names.
that same era too.
Right.
Like
it's not Casey Williams. It's another. His last name's Williams though too, because he went to school with a buddy that's 2 years younger than me. Reggie Williams.
Yeah, Reggie Williams, right here.
Yeah.
Jermaine Curse. Yeah.
That's quite a school to have that many receivers come up out of it.
I remember them. If I remember correctly, they actually got in trouble for trying to recruit people to their high school.
I mean, I can see that.
And basketball.
But yeah.
But anyways, that was years and years
ago. So who are these Sonics? For those of you that don't know what the Sonics are, because I barely do, they were a team in Seattle. I think they played in the NBA. I'm not 100% positive.
They once played. Yeah.
I mean, I put down the obvious, the glove.
I think, well,
it's good.
Okay. Whatever that was.
It's from the fencing company.
Okay. I think the Kevin Calabro. I think the glove is probably. I mean, he made it to the finals, but honestly, I can only name you the coach of the Sonics that won the world championship. I don't know any player on there.
I would say
so.
Yeah. If I like I said before the show, we were talking, and the Sonics left in 2008.
Right.
And so I was in 7th grade back. I was not.
How does that make you feel?
Yep.
Where were you at in 2008?
Just
a reference here.
I was 5 years out of college.
Oh, God.
and we were 12.
Well, so here's something to know about them leaving in 2008. How good would that team have been if they stayed? Think about all those draft picks that went and played for the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah, that's why it's like so hard to think about. I feel like that's why it's so hard for them to try and get a team back. Mm-hmm. That's part of the reason. You know, like back in the a while back they were talking about the Kings and stuff like that, but it's like they saw what happened to OKC or Seattle/OKC. They started racking up all the draft picks and but so anyways, back on topic. I very, very vaguely remember the Sonics. Like, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, me too.
I remember going to one game where they played the Indiana Pacers. Right. For some reason, I just remember that game very vividly. Like, I remember sitting there and I was just like in awe. And I was, but so it's hard for me to like pick a favorite song. Like, I know the guys, Sean Kemp, Gary Payton, Ray Allen, Rashard Lewis,
Yeah.
All, I can name them off, but, like, I didn't grow up sitting there watching them. You know what I mean?
I get that.
Yeah.
So when it comes to, like, the basketball topic, it's hard for me to, like, pick favorite teams or favorite players. And, like, I just jump on the bandwagon. Michael Jordan's my favorite all time. Because then I don't have to argue.
Right.
So what's the biggest? You don't have to argue? LeBron James?
Who's that? Never heard of him.
Okay.
So we're not talking about WNBA. We're talking about NBA.
Oh. So I'm the same way. Like vaguely remember the Sonics or whatever. So the biggest thing that I think of when I think of Sonics is 1, 2, 3. Sean Kemp.
I already said that.
I know. I'm just saying. Like that's the biggest name you think of. That's the biggest name I think of. So.
Yeah. I mean the glove. That's my name. Okay. If I think of Sonics, I think.
So,
I think of Sean Kemp.
Being someone that's hated the Sonics for...
Why do you hate the Sonics? Let's start.
Let's give a backstory on that.
I just considered it a rivalry, and then when I got up here, like, everyone was crying the blues because I think I got over here to Seattle, because I'm from Clark County, Washington. I'm from down south.
Yeah.
And so when I got up here, people were crying about the team leaving. I was like, you guys barely even went to the games. And so I just love it because it touches a button. I knew the rest in peace. I knew the Sonics guy.
Oh yeah.
He used to be a bouncer at a comedy club that was in the basement of a bar he used to drink at. So I'd intentionally go walk down the stairs, see the Sonics guy, and he'd see me and be like, "Oh shit!" And I'd come down there and I'd talk a little shit, and he'd talk a little shit back, and it was a fun time. It's one of my fondest memories. But
yeah,
you're on something. Gary Payton, I think hands down probably the greatest Sonic. He's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
most of his career spent there. Kemp was good, the Rain Man, but Rashard Lewis and Ray Allen were short stays.
Yeah, so, but that's the one thing. If I do remember from the Sonics is just their duo together on the court. It was just back then. Obviously, like I said, I'm not a basketball person. I never was. I played it just because it was something to play in practices.
Yeah, and if I'm thinking just off the top of my head on their top 10, I mean, you'd probably have to throw the X-Man, Xavier McDaniel in there. Steph Curry's dad, Del Curry, was a good player for him. Downtown Freddie Brown.
Yeah.
The original
I know the names, but I'm not like.
Yeah, I mean, they had some talk on them.
Yeah, I can't talk about them.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I was just curious.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you guys know who the Sonics were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, it's instant heartbreak when you see that. I mean, the Sonics drafted Kevin Durant. And then the city left, so OKC didn't even take Kevin Durant. The Sonics did, and he just never played a game there. And so when you think about that, it's just kind of a kick in the teeth.
I gotta jinx somebody real quick. We have another no developing, and it's not for the Mariners.
Is it ever this season? I know. I got it pulled up right here, and I don't even want to.
All right, so.
They are absolute bum shit.
All right, on to the next. So, where are we at? Greatest Pacific Northwest athlete. So this one, I wasn't really quite sure if it meant like greatest person who's been in the Pacific Northwest or like
from the
born.
Northwest.
Okay, that's what I figured.
From the Northwest.
That's what I figured. So I just kind of put a little laundry list together, and then I got one that kind of really stands out. So Casey Keller, goalie for the Sounders. He's from like Lacey or something like that.
He's a what?
He's from Lacey.
No, what is he?
He's
Sounders.
goalie for the Sounders.
What are the Sounders?
Yeah.
Oh, the soccer team.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. I was just curious. I don't follow them. Have they won anything?
Yeah.
I'm joking.
I was like, what?
I'm not a soccer guy, but I appreciate those guys that go and party.
Yeah. Those
I'm not
games,
a soccer guy.
dude,
I can't run that.
Sounders games are.
Yeah.
I've been to one.
Never been.
Yeah, I appreciate the party.
Dead tired.
Ran a marathon.
Freddie Couples.
Good call. That was mine.
Drew Bledsoe. John Stockton. John Olerud. And then my favorite, who I know he's going to be a sleeper to you. You even remember the name. You'll probably remember it, but Apollo Ono.
Oh.
Yeah.
The speed
skater. The speed skater.
Yeah,
that's not a
speed
sleeper to me.
skater.
That's probably the best one.
Oh, well,
He
I didn't
killed
think
it.
you remember him.
Yeah.
Did he win gold though?
Yeah, he's got two gold,
yeah.
2 gold, 2 silver.
You just
and
remember
4
the
bronze,
hair.
all in the
Sick.
Olympics. And then he's got multiple world championships and stuff.
Yeah.
That's some research though, because I was gonna bust Freddie Couples on you guys, and you had it. That's pretty good.
Hold on.
That's just because I was trying to think. I was trying to think. I was like, who is somebody that I could try and pull out, and maybe they'd be like, oh, I forgot.
That was like one
him.
like.
And it's like,
where did that come from?
I was like, Apollo Ono. I've been saving this in my memory for 15 years for something.
And
probably not that long, but probably pretty close now, actually.
Yeah.
11, 12, somewhere.
That's just like you fall asleep on the couch, wake up, and like, oh, the Olympics are on. What is?
I remember watching him in the living room on 101st Street because he was like breaking all these time records and stuff.
Yeah.
All over the news is Apollo Ono, all this and that.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, yep, I gotta bring him.
Yeah, that's funny. That made me laugh.
Probably the first time he's been talked about on sport.
Oh, for sure.
Whatever.
For sure.
All right, what do you got? Nothing?
Because mine would be modern, and I just don't want to go with. I don't know.
What do you got?
So Freddie Couples was my pick. There's also Kenny Stills from Furcrest, Washington. He's a U.S. Open winner, I believe. Mark Rippon from Spokane. He was a Super Bowl MVP with the Redskins as the quarterback, and then he did a few things in football.
Yeah, see, he's pulling stuff from.
I think I was 87 years old.
I was
92.
Then, like, this is exactly why I didn't want to answer this question because it's
Randy parents were like 10 back then.
Randy Myers had the save record with the Cubs for the National League for a while. He was a Orioles closer as well. He closed for a few teams. He's one of the Nasty Boys, the Reds from the early 90s. Look up Nasty Boys, I guess.
I don't know if I want to Google that.
You might hold a few different sites, so you don't
have to put it in baseball.
The Nasty Boys are Norm Charlton, Randy Myers, and Rob Dibble. But
this is not an X-rated podcast. Can we?
No, this is not. No, I'm not talking about going on your guys' OnlyFans and Googling Nasty Boys.
Hey, check out our OnlyFans. Top left OnlyFans.
Yeah, top left OnlyFans. Yeah, I mean, there's, like I said, there's so many you can pick. I mean, obviously, like some of the ones we named earlier, Brandon Roy.
Yeah.
Jermaine Kearse. I mean, 3 different Northwest entities that they went through: high school, college, and then pro team. That's
where like I originally was gonna start because it's like their whole lives, professional lives, except for Jermaine, but like was all Pacific North.
Yeah.
Brandon Roy never left the Pacific North.
Right.
For a home team.
But yeah, Drew Bledsoe was Yakima, Washington State.
Yeah, I think that's like one of the biggest names you throw out there.
I think it's the easiest.
You know that name.
I think it's the easiest, honestly. Pacific Northwest, Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, I mean we've talked about a lot of greats, but
this is start him off first.
I got 3. Yeah, go ahead.
I want him to start off.
So
I need to fill my 4th spot.
Yeah, let's start off.
So my Mount Rushmore of the 4 greatest sports figures in the Pacific Northwest. Griffey obviously needs to be up there. I mean, he's the guy that kind of
That checks all the boxes.
Yeah.
yeah.
Let me circle that.
I know we talked about trading him earlier, but Russell I think has to be up there. I mean, he's the quarterback, Super Bowl winner. My third is as an odd one for you guys, but it's not for guys my age. But Don James, he was the original head coach for the UW Huskies when they won all the national championships. So Don James belongs on that mountain.
So that's good.
And then my fourth, I kind of go back and forth with just, I kind of look at the Seahawks. The Blazers and Sonics, I kind of go back and forth with because, the Blazers and Sonics are 78 and 77, 78 and 78, 79 for those championships.
Yeah.
And so you're just kind of like, that's way out of that's when I was born. So the fourth spot, I kind of kick back and forth. Some days I think it should be Edgar, and other days I'm kind of like, well, was there someone that was just phenomenal? And you just said Apollo Ono, but I had Freddie Couples as the fourth one.
Yeah.
All right, Bradley, do yours.
Do mine. I mean, you already stole two of mine, which was B, Russell Wilson. Obviously, I just he gave he didn't give us a Super Bowl, but he's a quarterback I saw in the Super Bowl, and obviously he's still with us and doing
kind of
great.
rebuilt in a way. He was the motivation to rebuild.
Yeah, that's what I think of. So you got to put Russell Wilson up there. I mean, we've had heartbreak before, and that gave us our first. Like, I remember driving down the street right after I watched that game. I was driving to our buddy Anthony's house, and just people on the side of Pacific, which is one of the main roads down here in Tacoma and Midland area, and people are just waving Seahawks flags. And it's just one of the best nights of my life. So Russell Wilson would definitely be a top for me. Griffey, I mean, you can't leave him out of that Mount Rushmore. You just can't. Steve Largent, if we're gonna go for another Seahawks guy. I mean, that's just a name that you always hear. And then throw in a little curveball here, Casey Kane.
Good pick. Enum Claw kid, right?
Yeah. Enum Claw. Yep. He actually got a few. My aunt owns a company called Enum Claw Licensing Agency, and he was always giving us signed stuff. And just, I mean, I'm a NASCAR guy. We didn't have sports at home. We had NASCAR going on when I was first growing up. I probably didn't get into sports until I met Steven. So we always had NASCAR on every weekend, and Casey Kane was a big figure in our lives. Enum Claw guy coming out of Washington.
Yeah, it's him and Greg Biffle, right?
Yeah, Greg Biffle. Yep. So, but I think I like Casey Kane better than Greg Biffle, even though Greg Biffle had a great career too. So, put Casey Kane in mind just to throw a little oddball in there for you guys.
I got two not oddballs, but names that you're not expecting.
So Griffey,
obviously, we all got Griffey.
Yeah, 3 for 3 on that one.
Steve Largent, just what he represents to the Seahawks and stuff like that. You still are seeing Steve Largent.
Yeah, you can't go anywhere without.
Yeah. My next one, I put Sue Bird on there.
Yeah.
For a curveball. I mean, she's played 18 seasons or something like that with the Storm.
Yeah. Couple world championships.
Yeah. She's. I mean.
Aaron Wolf, the Casey Kane pick.
I feel like she's just a big impact on the WNBA alone. And then for my fourth, All Out.
That's such it's not an oddball pick, but it's you wouldn't think, because we're talking about players and
sports.
But yes, exactly.
Seahawks, Trailblazers, Sounders.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Three of the biggest.
RIP. Let's get that out of the way.
Yeah, three of the biggest sports franchises in the Northwest, minus the Mariners.
Yeah. No, that's an awesome pick. I love that.
I mean, he owned the Trailblazers at one point. He owned the Seahawks until he passed, and he had stakes in the Sounders as they became a. So I just I know he's the owner. He's not a player. Blah blah blah. Whatever. But it's All Out.
Yeah, but you're right. You it's hard to think about the Seahawks and not think about.
Yeah.
Just if you think about the Seahawks, you can't right now you can't not think about Russell Wilson. Paul Allen definitely. Yeah, I like that. That's cool.
I mean, yeah, he is a sports icon. Sure.
Yeah,
But
it's
then-
just so different that like we all pick players, and then you're like, I got this last one. Here we go.
Well, one of the guys on my Mount Rushmore though was
Yeah,
never an
that's
athlete,
true.
or
Yeah.
he was an athlete, but I mean, he's known for being a legendary coach. So
Yeah.
That's true. That's
But
true.
I think like when you talk about Pacific Northwest, you know, the other guy off the top of my head, because I was thinking about, I saw him go outside of the box, and the track coach for University of Oregon. I mean, the guy that invented the Nike waffle pattern. I think it's Bill Bowerman, if I can remember off the top of my head. But I mean, he was the coach of Prefontaine and some of these other iconic track runners,
Yeah.
and you know how big running is across the world. I mean, University of Oregon, that's kind of one of the sacred grounds.
You gotta have.
I never understand why people run for fun.
I
never
I
understood.
cannot run for
When
fun.
I was in the army, people were like, "Oh, I'm going for a run." I'm like, "Well, for what?"
I
Why?
remember you coming home on leave and being like, all right, we're waking up at 6 o'clock and we're
That
gonna
was
go
when
for
I
a
came
run.
out of basic. That's different.
And
I was
I'm
all
like,
fucking cool and shit.
What? You
All
gotta
right.
have something in your pocket because you're throwing out these random things that I would never even think about.
Huh?
I'm like, you gotta have something out of your like you're just like pulling in your pocket and just like throwing stuff out of it.
No, it's what's falling. It's what's falling out. It's what's falling out of the bottom of my pant leg. That's my balls because I'm that old.
Well,
Yeah, it's not coming out of my pocket. It's falling out the bottom of my pant leg. That's just how old I am.
All right.
Yeah, there's no knowledge there, so it's not old.
Oh my
But,
gosh. Yeah, I guess the age difference definitely gets us right.
Yeah,
now.
they tell me that if you run long enough, you get this euphoric. I've never ran that far enough to even experience that. I've never even ran to my car before in the rain, so I'm trying to figure out how these people run a couple miles. So yeah, there's some weirdos out there in this lifetime that. How's the no? Oh, it's still a no going into the.
Yeah,
They're up right now.
Yeah, so we're up now. So
Mariners are doing Mariner type things. They're going to get no hit 85 times this year.
Unbelievable. So the next one, switch it over to some NHL real quick. Kraken, can they do what Las Vegas did, or is NHL like NBA where names won't come to play? I honestly, I've kind of been slacking on this, especially since it's coming up this July. But the expansion, when it first got brought up, they were talking about changing the rules so that we can't do what Las Vegas did and pretty much completely stack a fucking team for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So honestly, I don't really know how to answer the question personally, because I don't know what the rules are going to be. Back when I first started the show, and it was just me talked about it, kind of what they were able to do and who they were allowed to go after and who they weren't. But I'd have to look into that. So I don't really. I feel like people are. If we can have a good couple first 5 years, then people come here. Because Seattle hockey's growing in Seattle. Newer franchise, you got a chance to, if you're a big name, be a face of a franchise, stuff like that. But personal opinion. Any facts?
that's a sport where they use that stick, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They drink maple syrup on the bench.
I saw that. Yeah.
All that stuff.
Hey, yeah. Yeah, they have this little
means
box.
everything.
They have the box where they go in if they get in a fight. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
the winner's circle. The winner's
Yeah,
box.
yeah.
They call
so it seems
barbecue
like-
all dressed.
Yeah.
That's what a barbecue chip is.
That chip is really good though.
It is very damn
It's
good. The
really
ruffle
good.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love all dressed.
All right, this is a good topic because they're getting no hit right now. You are a GM of the Mariners. What's your approach to the World Series?
Okay, I'm gonna start out because you just said it's a good topic because they're getting no hit. I don't think. Well, let me preface this by the hitting isn't the best, but I don't think the hitting is the worst problem. Which obviously right now in this game, the hitting is a problem. I will preach this till the day I die. We need to focus on our pitching. It always, you text me once or twice a week.
Montero's
Montero's.
Montero, dude. Montero's Montero.
Yeah,
dude.
exactly. So I think we've been saying this for at least me the last 5 years. We need to do something about our pitching. I think the fact that we are getting a younger team in is nice,
Yeah.
But
That's what I was gonna go with it too.
yeah, I like the fact that we're getting the younger team in and getting Kellenick up here and all that stuff. But I think it's just always been the pitching for me. Like we can go on a run where we'll have a 9-run game and still lose the game, or we will go to the very bottom of the 9th inning and then win by a walk off, or like
or if Felix pitches a perfect game and they win 1-0.
yeah. Okay, one time. One time.
James
like,
Paxton's
one time.
no hitter was
One
like
time.
1 or 2-0 too, wasn't
One
it?
time. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I completely agree with you. My aspect was the exact same. It's
Yeah.
we got enough good guys in our farm system right now
Who will be here by
mid 2022, maybe a couple of them that are in low A right now.
Yeah.
There's one kid down there that's tearing it up. I forget his name right now. But they're projecting him late 2022, maybe 2023. That we can start refocusing on pitching again.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's prospects can be prospects. All out.
Yeah.
They're called prospects for a reason. They're not.
Yeah.
The next big name. They're not the next Mike Trout. That's not what they call them. They call them prospects.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's just like you're not. I feel like the Mariners are trying too hard to do. That's just not.
But
Like the
they're cheap,
Astros
that's
got
for sure.
fucking lucky with how all that played out with them and their prospects that all turned into like pretty much MVP candidates. Almost
Yeah.
all of them. Like it's unreal. That doesn't happen.
I think beating a garbage can definitely.
That was before the garbage can. But
It was a buzzer on the shirt.
yeah,
And a garbage can too.
it was clicking of the pen.
Yeah. But no, yeah, like I get like we even talked about like a couple shows ago how like Perens and Trammell, he's down killing it right now in AAA, but like the hitting definitely needs to be up there. But I mean, if you're gonna talk about
you're gonna have bad nights at the plate, but it seems like other than Justin Dunn or Dunn through.
done through the
Yeah.
night.
So he didn't have a horrible game, but
No, not a bad game at all.
Dunn and Sheffield have been pretty reliable for the most part. I feel like this year, but it comes down to this question I asked you guys earlier: when do you get away from a station? I feel like that's killing us.
I thought like when we first talked about how they're gonna bring out the 6-man, we were like, oh that.
If you
good,
have a
like-
full 6-man, full 6 starters, not
Yeah, then you
two
get Paxton
bullpen
that
days,
gets
not
freaking
two
injured right
bullpen
away.
days,
And yeah, like I feel like we always talk about something and then it always turns into pitching. So back to the question, if you're the GM of the pitching's my answer. Like same as NFL, like defense wins championships. I mean, if you're gonna give up 15 runs, our hitting could be great. We can get 10 runs, but we're giving up 15 runs. We're not gonna win the game.
you give it 15.
Well, it's just an analogy, but
I know.
like I said, you can have a great hitting staff that's going to hit 10 runs a game, but if you give up 11, like that's a loss. So,
Yeah, Julio's killing it right now.
But I mean, my perspective is the same. I think maybe not finding the pitching, but setting a set 5-man.
yeah,
Getting away from the bullpen days where Johnson's starting for 2 innings.
2 innings
or
and then
something,
having a bullpen
like,
for the
I
last.
hate those bullpen days. If you're gonna do that, have that be the 6-man. Don't have him be in the middle of your rotation. But yeah, I could go on. So.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
Well, so like this weekend we were up at Cash Park in Everett. We were talking about the Aqua Sox, and what's the prospect's name in Everett? He's
Julio.
that is Julio.
Yeah, Julio, yeah.
So we're gonna go up there and watch him play, and like I said, I don't know when you said he's projected in 2020.
No, Julio's projected next year.
Next year.
Yeah, there's a guy in
So
20. There's a guy in low A, so Everett's high A. There's a guy in Modesto or some shit like that who's in low A who they're projecting for 2020.
But yeah, there's some of that stuff. We were talking about a pre-show, like what's the difference between AAA and
Yeah,
baseball? Because you're seeing Trammell just go off.
Yeah.
Kellenic struggle.
And Kellenic struggle. And I, it's one of those things, right? You touched on it too. Everyone compares it to the Astros, but you're not gonna get 6 top tier guys, or what was it? 4 is Correa and Springer and Bregman. Yeah, you're not gonna get that.
And Altuve too, wasn't it?
Altuve's a farm system,
so
you're never gonna get that.
Yeah,
I don't care if they are banging on trash cans and
hitting the buzzer.
Even with it, you still gotta hit the ball. Like obviously, the pitch is coming.
And Garrett Cole, was he in the farm? No, he was brought in. I can't remember where he originally started, but
With the Yankees.
He's with the Yankees now. He might be a farm. No,
yeah,
I think he was like a Diamondback or something like that.
Was he?
No, that's Adam Webb. I get mixed up. But Verlander's brought in. He's brought in to make a run. Once you see how successful you are, he's one of those trade deadline guys.
Yeah.
And then he's stuck. But yeah, a lot of this stuff, it's Pittsburgh. That's right. Garrett Cole's Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
But yeah,
thank you.
And to me, it's just I being a lifelong Mariner fan. You see some of these things where, Cliff Lee shows up.
Yeah.
And he wants the first ticket out of town as soon as he touches off the plane here.
Yeah.
He was staying in Kenny Mayne's house.
I remember.
He didn't even buy a home. He wanted to stay in Kenny Mayne's house because he's looking for the first ticket out of town. And it's stuff like that where I'm just like, I don't know. The Mariners have ripped the life out of me because of, the 116 game season.
Yeah.
I was in the park. I think that was 2003. 2001, you're right. 2001. I'm in the park for that. And I'm watching Mike Messina just shove it up our rear end. And we have Freddie Garcia going. It's just like this right here.
Yeah.
Freddie Garcia wasn't giving up more than 3 runs in a start. And still, Mike Messina's pitching spotless and knocking down 16 hitters or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And it's just this crap like this where it seems like they don't have any fight in them whatsoever.
Yeah, I feel like if I was to put myself in like an MLB player's shoes, I feel like I try and do a weird number. But
very tough thing to do. But
yeah, but
if you've got it down, let me know.
Because I was thinking about it last night after we lost, and I was like questioning myself, like, what nights do you take a loss harder than? Because there's 162 games in a season, and there's nights where they'll lose and they'll show the dugout and players are just grabbing their stuff and just walking away. Like, it's just. And I'm not talking about the Mariners. I'm talking about baseball in general.
Yeah, and I get that. They got 162.
Exactly.
That's a lot of games to be.
But at what point does a loss become just a loss versus like we need to step at the phone?
When it's like a Kyle Seager when you've been on the team for years and it's like, okay, this is like my 600th loss. Like, I'm tired of losing. I want to win something.
What do y'all think of the relationship? So
I think they brought him up way too quick.
I agree. I completely agree. And CJ Hoffman, I don't know if you're on his page. Anything
a long-time
goes.
old friend.
Yeah. Are you on his sports page? He's got
Anything sports group.
Yeah. He actually commented on there and said he didn't want to see him until June or July, and I totally agree. I think more July than June, but he didn't play last year because of the vid. And you bring him up this year for one 6-game series, and before that 6-game series is even up, you already determine you're going to go to the big club. It's like, yes, I get he's our top prospect. Yes, he was. I mean, he hit 500 that night. We went Friday night. He went 2 for 4 with a walk, a stolen base. But it was like, was it Taylor Trammell hurting that bad that they needed to call someone up, or did they think he was ready to be called? You know what I mean?
What if it's not even that? What if it's just like they see that they're trying to fight for something? Like Trammell was hurting, obviously, but like, okay, let's put this guy in here and see what he does. Like, even if it's too early,
he's
like
hitting worse than Trammell was.
Yeah, but like, what do we have to lose? Like, we're already going on a downward spiral right now.
But that's not typical Mariners. They don't want to start people's clocks.
No,
I mean,
I get it, but
I don't know.
you get to a point where
We literally could cry about the Mariners. For a whole
you ask someone like, "Hey, what do you think about the Mariners?" And they're like, "It's the same thing every year."
The one thing I'll say about the Mariners is, if we lose tonight, I feel like we're at one game below 500.
It'll be we're at 500 right now,
Okay.
21-21.
We're a quarter of the way through the season, game below 500, 3.5 back of the, or half a game back of the Astros, 3.5 back. Like, we're not sitting in a horrible spot right now. If we can maintain, this type of run into the All-Star break and then catch a hot second half somehow magically, like Angels in the outfield, I mean, we got a chance to make at least a lot.
Yeah,
it's gonna take a lot though.
It's sad to want to at least make.
I just think being a little longer in the tooth, that I've seen so many prospects with such high expectations just absolutely flounder because they pull them up, and for every Andrew Jones or Miguel Cabrera, there's 40 guys that they brought up too quick and they just absolutely got their shit pushed in, and then now they're sitting there mind effed for the rest of their career, and you hope some come out of it and come back up on top. But I mean, like, look at the Rick Ankiels, Todd Van Poppels. Have I said one name that you guys relate to yet?
That last one you just said sound familiar.
Okay, yeah. So many guys. The Ryan Andersons, and you just named we had a lefty that was a stud college pitcher. He was like our first round draft pick. I can't, Danny something or another. I can't, Holtzen. We've had so many prospects that they put the top 3 pick tag on, and they're gonna be a future Cy Young winner, and then it was absolutely flounder because like Aaron just said, the media puts so much pressure on these guys in the Northwest, and it just absolutely is. Kellenic could have stayed down there. I think that's how you.
Yeah,
he could have stayed down there and had a little bit more success. It didn't have to be.
Yeah.
Hey, Trammell's only hitting 1 something, and this kid's hitting high threes, wasn't he, down there?
I think he was in the fourth.
But it was 6 games, 6-game series versus El Paso.
And as much as we're talking about this AAA comparison, most pitchers in AAA, I don't agree with them bringing up Gilbert yet either.
See, that one I don't mind as much. I'm not like a super big fan of it, but I don't mind it as much.
Because with the hitting, these guys are all brand new AAA pitchers.
Yeah.
Let them get some innings on them, and then when they start getting seasoned and they start getting ready to be some call-ups, now these guys are facing major league pitching towards the middle to the end of the year in AAA.
Yeah.
Let Kellenic work his way into that pitching. Why do you let him face guys that are fresh out of AA, starting the year in AAA?
Yeah.
And so, he's going to have a hard on every time he's at the plate because he's facing guys that aren't going to make it, or they're still getting seasoned to make it. That's hence you get a 400 average. Pull him to the show with veterans, and he's getting shut down.
Guys who have a very significant speed fastball.
I mean, we went on that Friday, the opening Friday night. They opened on Thursday. We went Friday night, and Logan Gilbert actually started that game. But in El Paso, the highest I saw in El Paso pitcher throw,
right,
and their breaking balls were like 8. Or change it, whatever. We're kind of sitting at a weird angle, but so you're talking like 7 to 8 mile an hour difference, where you get to the show and you're facing a guy that's throwing high 90s when their curveball or a changeup is high 70s, low 80s. So that alone is enough of a difference where you need to sit down low, you need to stay at AAA a little bit longer, play a higher level AAA team, like a good AAA team, and see their pitching. I don't agree with it.
But
I had when I coached high school ball, one of my coaches, he was the head coach. He was a minor league catcher for like 5 years.
Yeah.
He said the same thing every time. He's like, every time we got a pitcher, the good ones would come in being able to throw 97, 98 miles an hour. they would teach them how to find their spots and locate, so they drop down 3 or 4 miles an hour. But they would teach them how to hold the ball and get movement. So you just went from a guy that throws 98 straight as an arrow, now he throws 95 with movement. And I think that's probably a lot of what Kellenick was doing. Is AAA, those guys are still learning. You're seeing straight as arrow fastballs and guys that worked their way through AA. But once you get in the show, I mean, everyone has.
Oh yeah.
And everyone throws 96 to 100 miles an hour.
High 90s, yeah.
It's a nuts game right now, but
and I feel like that's one of the reasons why they brought Hogan up, because he's always so college. He was
right,
and then he got mono his junior year or whatever, or sophomore year, and then pitched his junior year again, and the Mariners were able to get him at a high draft pick,
and you're right too. That's the difference between a college draftee and a high school draftee. I mean, you got a guy that's 22 years old, at least he's experienced a little bit of life and adversity, where a 19-year-old kid, you definitely got to be careful.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the kids that get drafted out of high school still end up going to college too and getting redrafted in a couple years, but there are a few that will try and go straight to like they'll very, very rarely.
I don't mind cursing this guy. Is it a perfect game or a no-hitter?
I just got a note. He had to have walked.
Yeah,
because there's no air in there.
No air.
No air, but he must have walked some. Let me go. Yeah, one walk.
Hell yeah.
One walk away from a perfect game. Oh, unreal.
I think they should change the walk in the game. Or maybe not the walk, but a hit by pitch in air. They need to take something out because I don't know.
Well, I thought that's not a perfect game.
I mean, it's not, but that's what I'm saying. I feel like
take it out so that way it still could be a perfect game. Because if you walk someone, I
I get the aspect of it, the difference between a perfect and I get it.
You can't do that. You got to have a perfect game.
I know.
You can't do that. It's like hopefully I'm not aging myself again, but are you guys old enough to... I know. Do you guys remember when the Tigers pitcher, I forgot his name, the umpire misses a call at first base and threw away his?
Yes.
And how people wanted to give him it anyway with an asterisk? You can't, man. The umpire's part of the field, too.
Yeah.
That's not...
He was a ground ball at first, and he was running over. They even started celebrating it, and then they were like...
Called him safe, and it was clearly...
Miguel dropped to his knees, and it's like...
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Yes.
I forgot his last... It was like Galderamo or something like that.
Yeah, I do remember that.
But I remember people wanted to give him a no-hitter or a perfect game, and I was like, you can't. Okay,
so this will take us back a couple of episodes. Bumgarner.
Oh,
it is
7 inning.
Yes, 7 inning. Yep.
Is that a perfect or it was a no-hitter? It wasn't.
And we pulled. Yeah, it was a no-hitter, and we pulled up.
They gave him a
the
7th inning complete game, but not a no-hitter.
And we pulled up like the rules, and it has to be over
9 innings.
9 innings.
But
and that's the only like little asterisk that's in that rules is it has to be over 9 innings to be a no-no. But do you think
on a doubleheader day,
you should
where you can't play 9 innings unless you go into extras, do you think that should be considered a no-no or perfecto, whatever the case may be?
So I put a post up on my Facebook about it because I'm a huge pitching guy, obviously.
Yes.
And I said that it's not fair to put an asterisk on it, especially taking it away from a guy that's on the backside of his career, which Madison is. He's still a stud.
Yeah.
He's on the backside of his career.
Well, he's having a shit year.
Yeah.
His ERA going
so I'm sitting
like
there, but
something.
On the other hand, too, though, I mean, this is the reason why the pros don't play 7-inning games.
They shouldn't, even on doubleheader days.
Even on doubleheader days, it should be 9 innings.
Okay. Yeah. That's what we talked about.
They're professional athletes.
But if they're going to make it, if the league is going to say you have to play 7 innings.
Yeah, if you're going to restrict someone from playing.
Yeah, if someone throws a no-no or a perfecto, there should be no
You should give it to them because they're playing the game you outlined for them.
Yeah, that's the innings that I'm supposed to pitch, and if I pitched all of those with a no-no, I should get a... We talked about this at length on our show.
And then all they gave him was a... 7
inning complete.
7 inning complete.
Yeah.
There's no hitter on it.
No hitter, nothing.
It has to be a perfect. Yeah.
The other thing too, to me, just in my head, is just that I wonder how many no hitters after the 5th get broke up in which inning. You know what I mean? Or after the 6th, or even the 7th. Does it get broke up in the 7th, 8th, or 9th inning?
Yeah. So I was watching. It was probably one of the Mariners games, but
When it gets broken up,
a no hitter gets broken up, and it's like high 90. Some shit. Once you get past where it gets broken, where a no turns into not a no.
Oh, gotcha.
Well, I mean,
gotcha.
And I've seen that with like when I get like my notifications or whatever, and that happens all the time. Like you'll get a notification like a no is like
through 7 or something.
Yeah, and then like 1 inning later, it's like all right, it's done.
Yeah.
But like still, like if you're outlining this specific amount of innings that I can pitch, give me a no.
Yeah.
Like I can't pitch anymore. You won't let me. I will, but you won't let me.
Yeah, let me go. But in the MLB's defense, Madison Bumgarner was at like 90 something pitches at the end of he was like high 90s in pitches.
Yeah.
He's getting older. He wasn't gonna go 2 more innings.
Who's to say?
Bumgarner cannot throw 130 innings and beat, or 130 pitches and beat.
You don't know. They didn't let him.
I'm telling you right
You don't know. They didn't let him.
Eventually, I do want to go back about the Kraken with you guys, though, but let's stay on this Mariners.
Oh, I'm.
Yeah, I mean,
We're sidetracked on the Mariners now. We're talking no-nos.
This is what happens when we get in here. We get sidetracked.
Go ahead. Let's do it.
So the Kraken stuff, we were talking about how players and whatnot, and Aaron's actually a really good dialogue guy. You should have him in here sometime. I like all this stuff. Oh, yes. Okay, gotcha. So, but yeah, it's just in my head. And you know when I said, is it like the NBA where big names aren't going to come here? I looked at the standings today. Utah, Phoenix, and Denver are the top 3 in the Western Conference, and then Milwaukee's number 3 in the Eastern. And so on the top of my head, it's like, oh man, Seattle is just as big as those 4 teams. Portland's a different story.
Yeah.
Where I think they're probably in the middle. They're probably the same as Utah, I would imagine, but they're not quite as big as maybe a Milwaukee or a Phoenix.
Yeah.
So I was just thinking in my head is like, what can they do? And with the Kraken, I think they're going to be big fan following when they show up, because I mean it's something new for the Northwest. There's no Sonics.
Yeah.
And so I was just curious, like when we talked about the Mariners, if they're going to handle it. You know, it's just in my head because I love hockey. I don't know how to play it. It's just like soccer. I know how to ice skate and do all that other stuff, but I don't know the strategy behind hockey. I know where you sit. Yeah. For those of you that don't know, you sit on what's called the shoe. If you understand hockey and want to see it, it's the 4 corners of the ice rink, up at least 7 where you can see up over the glass. And that it shows you a whole view of the rink and how they're setting everything up when the teams are going back and forth defensive lines. And so it's just been my curiosity, like my random thought of the day, like are they going to be like the Mariners where we're sitting here for an hour talking about you know, never building a pitching staff, and the best pitching staff I ever remember on the Mariners was Johnson, Facero, Moyer, and Paul Abbott.
Moyer.
I think John Halama was eventually in that group too. That was the best pitching staff they've ever built. And Facero was this randomly. Jamin Moyer, everyone thought he was done because he lost, you know, the velocity on his fastball. Then obviously Randy Johnson's the man. But
would you put Jamie in top 10 or?
Absolutely, man. The guy was awesome for us.
I feel like he'd be like 7.
I would put him almost along the same level as Edgar because of what he did here.
Yeah. I can see it.
And he was a good dude.
I think Edgar's just higher more because he stayed around after he retired.
Right.
Being the hitting coach, and he's fully invested.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Edgar's, like I said, he's one of my favorite Mariners all time, hands down. I mean, Buhner is one of my favorite Mariners of all time.
I was just gonna say, what about the Bone?
No. I mean, the Bone.
I was just gonna say, Mr. Northwest.
The Bone's himself. The Bone's iconic.
I don't like Jay Buhner.
You know?
I'm gonna give you 2 reasons why. All right, story time.
You bought a truck or?
No.
Okay.
I did.
I mean, I got another story for that too, but
So reason number one, Little League regional championships.
He's
Playing at Boise Creek. Going into the championship game, a chance to go to Williamsport. We played Jay Buhner's kids team.
Oh, that's just because you sucked.
No.
Oh,
it was his kids team. We lost. They went. We didn't. Second reason.
That sounds bitter.
Went down to spring training when I was younger.
Bitter.
And we were trying to get autographs from him. And he was like the one person that wouldn't sign any.
I have a signed ball from him. You want it?
I like him as a player,
Give it to you.
but he let me down twice as a kid. But no, I like Jay Buhner. Those two stories just are a little.
That is hilarious though. You pull those all the way from childhood, and you're like,
yeah, dude.
I don't like you.
From the heart. Those were like probably.
He cut you deep.
Probably all
Super
within
deep.
like less than 2 years of each other too. Like both those stories. Dan Wilson.
Two
Joey
iconic
Ford.
Mariners.
Yeah.
I like both of them.
Dan
That's we're about to get into that. Well, whenever we finish this converation up. We get into
Sounds
that.
like Steven hates Luis Soho. He probably didn't sign an autograph for him. And that's funny, the Jay Buhner stuff.
that is funny.
Yeah, it's scarred me for life.
It wasn't even the truck story. It was
I thought for sure you went down to Jay's Boneyard or whatever it is.
Northwest
And
Motorsports.
Northwest Motorsports and Puyallup here, and
No.
bought a shitty truck that went out on you on the.
No.
Oh,
See, we all got a Buhner
Yep,
story.
you went down there and said Jay sent you, and the thing broke
Jay
down the
sent
next
me,
day.
and it broke down twice. Still driving it though.
Yeah,
It's all right.
that's what I was gonna think. That's why you hate Jay Buhner. That's all I was thinking about.
Sent you.
Yeah, tell him the Bone sent you.
Yeah. Yeah, when the tow truck drivers, where'd you buy this from? The Bone,
The Bone
sent me.
Just like I hate Marshawn Lynch because freaking Deacon screwed up my plumbing or some crap. Like that. I love Marshawn Lynch is the greatest personality I think that's been in the Northwest sports.
I love the one day a year where Cal University video shows up of him driving
the car
across the field,
and he's just like
strung.
Yeah, that is great.
Oh, did we get no hit?
Yeah, in the ninth we got no hit.
No, we didn't.
We got no hit.
Are you sure?
I mean, it says end of ninth right here for me, and I have.
They just
0
verified
hits.
Kyle Wooten just verified it too. Turnbull completed the no-no.
Yeah.
Yep. I just
Thanks,
got it
Kyle.
too.
Appreciate that letdown.
Unreal. The Mariners are such bum shit.
All right.
Have you guys seen the movie Major League?
I have.
I'm Randy Quaid. I'm turning my hat inside out. Wild thing, you make my butt stain.
Wow.
That's how me with the Mariners. They are absolute bum shit.
Thanks.
So disappointing.
You heard it here first.
All right. Vegas Knights type the series on a positive note.
Yeah.
Seriously.
All right. Should we move on to the next topic, or?
Yeah, if you got
we can cry about the Mariners for another 3 hours.
I'm not. The Mariners are. I'm so mad at them.
All right.
They need me to do a clubhouse pep speech.
That's the second time they got no hit in like.
Yeah.
The Tigers, not the Tigers.
Tigers just.
They need Lou from Major League to like have a picture of the owner naked and pull off a piece of clothing every time they win a game.
Yeah.
She wants to move the team to Miami.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they try and move them 5 years.
Look at Duran says, "Let him have it." Yeah, absolutely. Absolute bum shit.
They were
Heartless wonders.
Can't even. Honestly, I just.
Well,
If I start thinking about it too much and going on, I'm just not gonna shut up. So let's just
my
move on.
bladder cannot handle
At what
that.
point do you start having some of the pitchers hit
Yeah.
for themselves?
Within 50 games? Yeah, you're right. Kyle.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I talked about the pitching.
Well,
but
so
hitting
since we're
definitely
talking about that and
Within
how
50 games.
how in Major League they're trying to move the team to Miami. Do
Yeah.
they move Seattle to Portland? Does Portland deserve an MLB team?
Oh, that was
Is our
mine.
next question.
What's gonna change?
And I'm gonna say no.
What's gonna change?
Well, I'm not saying move Seattle to Portland. That's not. I'm just. The question is, does Portland deserve a baseball team?
major league team? And I'm gonna say no.
Why is that?
Because I feel like there's more cities in southern region of this country that don't have professional teams that have a way bigger market for it.
Yeah, so take like all of 17 California's
Tennessee, Alabama.
New
I wouldn't be
Orleans.
surprised. Yeah, New Orleans.
That's a great one.
If they
I like
tried to
that
put
poll.
another Texas team in there, it wouldn't surprise me. I think it would cost too much to try and get a team to Portland because the MLB is not going to expand.
Right.
I think it would cost way too much to try and get a team to Portland rather than Nashville, New Orleans, somewhere in Alabama, whether that's Tuscaloosa, somewhere on that skirts, Auburn, maybe. Hell, I could see either another Georgia team coming in, one of the Carolina. I mean, there's some big baseball
Absolutely.
states that don't have professional teams. They got a shit ton of minor league teams, but they don't have any pro teams.
Right.
So that, and they got what Portland has a minor league. They got the.
Well, it used to be the Beavers. Now they have the Hillsboro Hops, which is technically Portland.
There's another one though. There.
They have
Well, they
Salem Kaiser Volcanoes, Eugene Emeralds, and then
The Portland Sea Dogs.
the Sea Dogs.
Yeah.
That's not. I don't think that's a minor league team, is it?
They're not.
I think they're an independent thing.
Oh, okay.
But no, the Hillsboro Hops
Major
are,
League
are an
Baseball has
actual.
announced Sea Dog. It says Major League Baseball has announced.
Oh, maybe they do have.
Oh, that's not Portland, Oregon.
No, that'd be the main.
That's a
one.
That's
different
stupid.
state.
Okay.
That's like. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
I mean,
I
so-
didn't know there was a Portland, Maine. How am I supposed to?
So
know
they
that?
used to have the Beavers, which had played in PG Park, and then
Yeah.
they have the Hillsboro Hops, which is a suburb of Portland.
Yeah.
But this is what I saw anyway. Is that so? That team is not leaving Oakland. I'll tell you that right now. I looked at what was happening and what Major League Baseball is doing, and with how big the Columbia River is, it has ports just like Oakland does.
Yeah.
And so I looked at everything that Oakland's asking for in Oakland. They want them to build a stadium in this terminal. It's a terminal off the port there.
Yeah.
And then I look at the Portland plan, and it's build a stadium in the terminal off the Columbia River on the port side, the Oregon side of the Columbia River.
Yeah.
I'm certain you're using Portland as a bargaining chip. You have no intention of putting it in Portland. You're just saying all these things that absolutely mirror what they want in Oakland,
Yeah.
but pressure the city into doing it. I was just like, this is dirty.
Yeah.
There's no way Portland's
I
ever
feel
getting
like
a
there's
team.
so many more problems in Portland that they need to.
Well,
I mean,
that's social and political stuff. But
but it's hard. It'd be hard for a group of investors or whatever the case may be, ownership even to say. I feel like it's hard to say. Let's go to Portland, Oregon.
yeah,
Let's go.
I will.
Like you said, it's political, so I'm not going to
It's
get
sort of
into
the
it.
weirdest
but
city that we have.
The only thing I'll say is though is that Seattle cannot point a finger at Portland.
No.
They're the exact same.
Yeah.
Not the suburbs, okay? Not like where
Yeah.
you guys live, or
Yeah.
because I don't have a tie in here. I live here, but I'm not from here.
Yeah. But you live
But
in Spanaway.
Portland is the same way. People in Clark County, where I'm from,
Yeah.
don't act like people from Portland. And some of those suburbs, Clackamas people are way different than what you see on the news from people from Portland. It's the same way as Seattle. Obviously, you don't judge someone from Bellevue because of what you see in downtown Seattle.
Yeah.
And I've,
Yeah.
as someone that's had to go into the city a few times, I mean, I've seen anything and everything. Same people
Yeah.
down south that live in those suburbs that have to go into Portland, they've seen anything and everything.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of random.
Getting off topic a little
Yeah.
bit here, but I know you've seen the post too, but people complaining about like Delta Park and stuff. Like,
yeah.
Delta Park's always been there's always been a homeless problem in Delta Park.
Right.
But for some reason, it seems like this year people extra. It may be because family members have to sit outside the outfield fence and stuff like that. So,
Mhm.
like for me at Kings, originally I was a little nervous because my girlfriend and my kid were sitting out inside the fence without me, so
Right.
I get that. But there's always been those problems there.
Mhm.
It's not like they just randomly occurred in the last like year or so. So, and even the people that play league down in Delta, like, deal with them every single night. We never had a problem. So it's like, why did this randomly all of a sudden become an issue? Softball down in Delta.
And see, I agree with that, but that park is actually in the city of Portland.
Yeah.
The parks we play in over here are not in the city of Seattle.
No.
The girls actually went and played at a park. Is probably the closest park I've ever seen towards the center of Seattle. It's up north. I can't remember the name of the park, but like, someone who's the wife of someone that's very high up in one of the associations, her car got broken into because they were near. I felt because they're near the core of Seattle, and North Seattle is where they were, and it's just one of those things. It's the world we live in now, but yeah, like these parks we play in up north here, they're so far, they're actually far away. Like Russell Road is in Kent, Washington.
Yeah.
Celebrations in Federal Way. Sarah's in Tacoma.
I mean, there's no really like real close parks. I mean, I'm sure there's like league parks that people play in and stuff, but there's no. I mean, Meadowdale's in
Linwood. Yep. Cash is in Everett. I mean, they're all in suburbs that are more family oriented.
You see it on a schedule. It says, I mean, for out of state people, it's like, oh, I got to fly into Seattle, but you're not.
Yeah, little do they know.
30 minutes south, 40 minutes south of Seattle.
The same thing I can say about there was and we're talking about Major League Parks, but it's kind of that's a great question you have coming up, the Major League Park question.
Yeah.
But I used to go and play in a giant world tournament in Detroit. If you think some of these places where they've ran it down, where businesses don't want to be in, like in Seattle and Portland, are bad, go to like a Detroit or Chicago on the wrong side of town.
Yeah.
And it's pretty bleak. But Detroit, you actually drive through the wrong side of town, and then you get out to this park that's kind of near Detroit, and you're like, the park's amazing. It's shut down now.
Yeah.
Because it fell victim to everything else Detroit did. But it's one of those things where you're just like, we think that Seattle and Portland are bad right now because I'm seeing the same things you guys are seeing on the TV.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why in the hell would I ever go to Portland or Seattle? But then you fly out to like a Chicago or Detroit, and you're like, well, I'll take a few hippies screaming out stuff and painting stuff over what this stuff looks like.
Yeah, you guys are going on a tangent on this. I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick.
I knew you weren't gonna make it.
No.
Yeah.
Heck no.
He got quiet about 10 minutes ago, and I was like,
I was holding it in so bad.
I was like, he's gotta pee.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, like, I haven't got to travel as much as you have for softball. Obviously, I mean, I've been all around Washington. I've been Portland. Obviously, I've been really any farther south than that, other than Vegas, and then Idaho. We went for One Nation here a couple months ago.
You went to Boise, right?
Yeah, a little bit west of Boise.
Yep.
Yeah. Which was really fun. That was honestly probably one of the most fun tournaments I've ever played in my life. We did really well, so that probably helped, but. It was a nice little area. We stayed about 15 minutes away from the field. It was a smaller hotel, but there was no like problems there. There was a construction site. It was quiet, cameras, all that stuff. Shopping mall right next to us and stuff. It was a pretty cool little area actually. I was kind of surprised.
Do you remember what city were you in? Caldwell or
Caldwell?
Nampa? Caldwell. Yeah.
So we stayed in Nampa. The tournament was in Caldwell.
Yep.
So we were 15, 20 minutes, whatever that drive.
Yeah,
is.
they're all Caldwell, Nampa, or suburbs of Boise. Yep.
Yeah, so that was actually a really fun tournament. The media isn't scared of Seattle.
That's right. Aaron's got a very good point.
Yeah. I guess we can move on.
Yeah, because you had some great questions, and maybe I'll spike up your viewers if I talk about it.
First Mariner player you remember? I mean, we kind of touched on that already.
Yeah,
but
my list kind of falls off towards the end here, so.
I mean, I know there's ones I remember before, but like the big names would be like Brett Boone, Dan Wilson, obviously Randy.
So that's the 116 win team. Real
Yeah.
Randy's before that, but Brett
Randy's
Boone's.
before that, yeah.
Brett
So
Boone and Mike
early-
Cameron and all those guys were the 116.
You gotta remember, I was born in '95, so 2001. I was 6
Yeah.
years old.
Gotcha.
Okay. So,
Gotcha.
like for me to remember them and remember watching that,
You're
night
actually
is good
born in the
enough.
year where Randy Johnson came in the late innings against the Angels. And
Yeah.
Edgar hits one off the left field wall. Griffey scores from second.
Yes,
You're born in that year.
I was born in that year. I was born in May of that year.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. So for my age group, the Brad Boones, Dan Wilsons, John Olerud, stuff like that. Like those were those are my first.
Okay,
Seeing
gotcha.
That's why, like, I for some reason like Dan Wilson is my favorite catcher of the time.
He's the greatest catcher in Mariner history.
Oh, 100%. But like Mike Zunino, I was like, he has a chance to be not Dan Wilson, but like the next Dan Wilson. I very firmly believe that. And then we traded him. We started doing better down in Tampa. Players always do trade him and they start doing better.
See, the difference between Z and Wilson, though, is that Dan Wilson threw out the second most runners behind Ivan Rodriguez during his prime.
Yeah.
Guy could throw it.
Yeah.
Whereas Zeno, I remember guys stole on him all the time.
All the time. It was more of like a hope type thing, and because Dan was the first like real catcher, I was when I played little league. That's what I did was catch. So it was like I wanted to be Dan Wilson. You know? So that would be the Mariners I remember. You can name yours. I probably won't remember.
Well, I mean, the first ones I remember are Jim Presley and Scott Bradley.
Scott Bradley. That name's
And then we had Phil Bradley, too. Then, sorry, bud. Sorry. Thought you took a leak. You're supposed to be skinnier. No, I'm joking.
Can you go pee?
Alvin Davis, Mark Langston. No.
Be on the first.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
What's the first Mariner? Who's the first
Mariner or Mariners you remember?
Gaylord Perry. Dave Keenman.
He's gonna say
Griffey.
I want to say Griffey, but like, okay, so Griffey would be like the first like known one that I would. But like I said,
That's a good pick though, because I mean I didn't realize he was gone before you guys were born.
we grew up. Like I said in my
before.
Oh, he left in
No,
'96 then.
No.
90.
Well, he was gone before you guys remember though, right? Or-
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like,
Sorry, not before you were born. Before you remember.
yeah. So like, I would want to say Griffey, but like I said, growing up in somewhere like where my household that didn't watch sports besides like NASCAR, I want to say like the first like Mariners that I like saw and was like, oh, that is like
99.
my team.
Yeah, not before you were born, but
Yeah.
like you're 4 years old, you're just starting to remember.
Yeah.
Oh my, you know, I don't even want to answer this because it's gonna make me feel like I haven't watched the Mariners like my whole life, which I haven't. But
Let's do it. Felix Hernandez.
I mean, a name that
I mean, it might be you know,
Jumps
he's
out
played
to
over
me.
12 years.
yeah, the name that jumps out to me is Felix.
Yeah.
Like
There's
in
nothing
my
wrong with
lifetime,
that. He
of
was
watching,
a 19-year-old stud when he came up.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
Yeah. But so then, yeah, like the obvious answer would be obviously Griffey, just because of the history behind that. But for me, coming into like my dad didn't watch it, my mom didn't watch it, no one in my household watched it. So by the time that Steven introduced me to baseball, was Griffey.
I mean, Felix
probably
started in 05. We were in 5th grade.
Oh, so that's not even a bad answer for
there's
me.
nothing. No, there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Okay, perfect.
Think about that. I mean,
Yeah.
he had a long career in Seattle.
Yeah, he played for Seattle for 12 years.
Yeah.
Or,
Okay, so that's
I'm
not
sorry,
okay.
14 years.
Okay, so I don't even care. It's not a bad,
Yeah, so that's
not a bad
literally
answer.
over half your guys' age.
Yeah.
That's a great answer.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Find me.
All right. Last couple questions to.
Yeah, you can work off of another list now. That
Your list was a good list. That's why we wanted to work on
Yeah.
it. It was
yeah, some of the stuff he said at pre-show was pretty good. So
Yeah, definitely.
So we already touched on the like, what's the difference between? We pretty
Coming
much
from the
touched on all
AAA
the
to-
Mariners stuff. Right?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
definitely went through baseball.
Okay. So let's touch on real quick the Derek Jeter series that's coming out. The
And I think we had
quote-unquote,
that
the
on
captain.
we
Yeah.
had that as a
Yeah.
post on our top left.
So
page.
it's a
Yeah.
show. I don't know who's actually doing it, but it's the same people that made The Last Dance, the Jordan story,
Which someone commented on, I
Mhm.
can't remember who it was, and
It's-
said it's going to be just like Last Dance.
which it's literally made by the exact same people.
Yeah, so they were right.
So yeah, I don't get it. We talked about it a little bit before. It's hard because, like we said, like I respect Jeter as like a ball player and what he did, but for him to, not that he doesn't deserve it, but for it to be a 6-part series and all this and that, like make it a 1-hour episode. And like this is here's bio or
So
whatever.
give
the
them
case may be.
a 20 for 20, basically.
30 for 30.
30 for 30.
Yeah.
Sorry, why did I say 20?
You know,
30
I
for
don't-
30.
I liked your arguments about it earlier. If you want to elaborate
Well,
on it.
people are gonna bury me when they watch this, tomorrow or whatnot, because a lot of people do playbacks, I assume, on your
Yeah.
show like they do on mine. But I'm not a Derek Jeter fan. Now, do I respect Jeter as being one of the Yankee captains? Well, hell yes,
Yeah.
because that's an iconic position. But he wasn't even the best shortstop on the team when A-Rod came over. A-Rod statistically is a better shortstop than Derek Jeter.
yeah.
Come on,
I don't
A-Rod?
care what anyone says.
Yeah.
Number 2, he's severely overrated. Just look at the two people getting 6-part series. One guy is the greatest basketball player of all time.
All time.
Derek Jeter is not the greatest baseball player of all time. He's far from it.
Very far.
Shouldn't
even be in the same conversation as
if we're talking about guys with an epic list of girlfriends, well then hell yeah, he's a top 1. But it just kind of annoys me with, does he transcend as far as marketing and whatnot and the respect hats and all that? Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But, I mean, this guy should have been playing second base and being the captain of the Yankees. This guy should have been playing first base and being the captain of the Yankees. He's a prima donna. He always had to play shortstop. His whole career, he was not even, like I said, look at some of those infielders that had to play other positions because Derek Jeter had to be the shortstop. And you guys are going to talk about his highlights. And, yeah, he was somehow in the wrong position on an overthrow against the A's. You tell me another shortstop that's going to be in the middle of the infield by the pitcher's mound, and don't tell me that he has a sixth sense where he read that, or because he was playing out of position and this randomly was in the right spot, and the guy threw it so bad they hit him on the fly.
Yeah.
I mean, he ran and did the play, but you've seen it, right? Where he's running across the infield and does a backhand and flips it. Get the younger Giambi that wasn't hustling at the plate.
Yeah. But yes, I do know what play you're talking about, but going back to what you just said a second ago, where it's like when you said look at the list of players that pretty much played around him, but he always played shortstop. I wonder if like on the show they're gonna try and manipulate that and be like, he beat A-Rod out and he beat this guy
Robinson
out.
Cano and
You know what I mean? Like, is he gonna?
what was the other second baseman's name that was clearly a shortstop? It's
I
gonna
can't
drive
think
me
of it right now.
nuts. But
Think
yeah,
about it on your way home.
a young Robinson Cano and a A-Rod in his prime are better shortstops than Derek Jeter was.
But you know what I mean? Are they gonna try and manipulate that on the story? Like, oh, he beat his out and all this, and he proved his.
yeah,
And he's gonna be sitting there talking like, yeah, it was a rough spring. I really had to come out and show it that year. And
AJ Hernandez has a
Yeah.
great point. If Nomar wasn't hurt, he would have been better than Jeter. Absolutely,
Yeah.
Nomar had way better numbers than Jeter. That's the stuff that annoys me because Jeter was so much of a prima donna. Cal Ripken scooted over. Think about that one in your head.
yeah,
The guy that beat Lou Gehrig's consecutive games played
Yeah.
record scooted over the third base to keep and played it.
yeah.
It's just
I know we talked about it before the show. I'm not a Jeter fan. I respect who he is and what he's done, but I'm not
Team guy.
Yeah.
Well,
Which
hey,
he obviously is not.
you're not. Video interrupted.
That's
Oh,
just
we're
on
good.
Facebook. Yeah.
Okay, got you.
Who's the player that you think of when you think about the Yankees? Like first player that comes to your mind.
What year?
Don't go back to Babe. That's for sure.
Well, I mean, during Jeter's run, I was a huge Mariano Rivera fan.
Yeah,
But the
I
first
would
player
have
that
to
comes
say.
in here, like the most like let's say polarizing.
Oh, Babe Ruth is the first guy I think of when I
Yeah.
think of the Yankees. But I'm an old fart too.
You are an old.
I mean, being a baseball fan, Babe Ruth would be. The
Okay,
first
so
person
if you
I
take
think
out
of,
Babe Ruth's
but
name, who's
Mickey
the most
Mantle.
polarizing?
That's
Okay.
another good one. I would
Yeah.
say
Joe DiMaggio.
if I'm in like the last
that's
like,
one that I'll agree with you on.
if I'm in like the last like 15 years or
Yeah.
so, the first one I think of Mark Teixeira.
Okay.
Because I have a Mark Teixeira jersey. Full
Okay.
game stitch, World Series patch and everything. I got it at Goodwill
Where's it
for
at?
$10 in one of my coat things.
Kyle Wooten said
Okay.
Paul O'Neill. Paul O'Neill was a stud, man, big time.
I'm not a Derek Jeter fan at all, but that's a name that
Like I said, I mean, Derek
think
Jeter's
about.
name's obviously in the last 15 years.
Yeah.
Same with
So-
Bernie Williams and
There's always names you hear of that.
Yeah.
I mean, or you think of that's like you don't want to think of it, but you think it.
Oh yeah, for
You
sure,
don't have a choice.
for sure. I just wanted to get like that out there to like be like, so if you say in the last 10 years, like he is pretty polarizing. So would it make for great TV?
yeah, I mean, pretty much
Probably.
him and A-Rod are the two you think of in
Yeah.
the last 15.
Yeah.
probably.
So
And Joe Torre.
But then you could change it and go to right now and like Giancarlo Stanton, Aaron Judge.
Aaron Judge, yeah,
I mean,
yeah. I mean,
the Yankee list goes on forever and ever.
Yeah.
It's not.
Always does. I mean,
They're not the Mariners.
No, they're
As a
the
Yankee,
complete
There's not
opposite.
two a decade.
but who as a Yankee was in a Will Ferrell movie? Remember that? That's a reference that both of you guys.
Which one
don't
did
know.
you say?
Will Ferrell, other guys.
Oh, I haven't
Derek
seen
Jeter.
that.
Exactly.
He got shot by Mark
Wahlberg.
Shot by Mark Wahlberg.
Derek Jeter.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the tunnel. Yeah. Sorry, that's just
If Jeter
a
was
movie
a
reference I
Yankee,
had to
would
put.
he have been labeled
Yeah,
as
Rivera,
great?
like your brother says, Rivera is like, to me, he's iconic. But 'cause
Yeah.
I remember this how good John Wetland was when he's the guy before Rivera.
Okay.
And Davis said, Wetland's got 1 year and he's done. And everyone, you were kind of puzzled, but then you saw who set him up as Mariano Rivera.
Yeah.
And you just saw how nasty Mariano was. You just knew that he was going to be that guy.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree about Mariano. If we're going pitching, I mean, CC.
Susie Sabathia was a stud. Roger Clemens was there for a while.
The
David
Yankee list
Coe.
can go on forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said,
So-
they're the complete opposite of the
Yeah, so
Mariners.
like put AJ's comment in there. If Jeter wasn't a Yankee, would he have been labeled? So like, say if Jeter was a Mariner,
Oh God.
how would he fall on this?
Well, he would have got
Would he
traded.
have this?
He would have got traded, that's for sure.
Definitely. But like, yeah, like that's a great comment because would we even be talking
I
about
mean,
Jeter
it's hard
right
to
now if
say
he
those,
was
like, David
a
Cohn
Mariner
was a
or a
stud.
Diamondback or
God, if he was a Mariner, he probably would have made Omar Vizquel go play second base.
Probably would have retired 10 years earlier, too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Clemens. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like you said, the Yankees list goes on and on. Like, it's just such a historic team. Like,
Seattle becomes just the fifth team since 1900 to be no-hit twice in the same month.
oof.
Hey, we're winning records.
Hey, we got records. We got records, bro.
Oh,
You can't tell us anything. We
So-
got records.
So that stat gets put in the paper tomorrow morning, or it's already actually online. It's
Yeah.
not put in the paper.
No,
anymore.
And what's sad is that's
What's a
in the-
paper?
Does the hitting coach get fired tonight?
No.
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 The Mariners don't roll like
No. Not at all.
If it's
Have
my
you
team,
seen the way we've been going?
if it's my team, yeah, you're quarter way through the season, you're averaging like probably under 200 as a team,
Yes.
and somehow you're one game below 500. Yeah, the hitting.
I think it's
coach
like we have like what 5 starting hitters that are on
But
our
look at
rotation
our
right now
run
that are
differential.
averaging
We're like
over 200,
minus
under
25
200.
or something.
Because you really can't blame the pitching. The pitching staff only gave up 3 runs.
3
tonight.
runs. No.
So can
And before like the last 2 weeks, we had the best bullpen in baseball.
Okay, I just talked
Until
about how I
Montero
want the
comes
pitching
in.
to be better. Can you not bring this up right now?
They gave us 5
guys.
runs tonight.
Yeah, 5 runs. It was 5 by the end of it.
I forgot what I was.
Montero is the modern day Bobby Ayala.
Montero is straight fucking trash.
And that's we touched on it earlier. He'll text me or I'll text him. Montero is Monteroing it again.
He's doing
Like-
it again.
Yeah, in the old
It's-
days we used to call that doing a Bobby Ayala.
What am I trying to look at?
Yeah.
Right over my head.
Oh,
What do you got going on there?
Yeah, what's the next question up here? The Jeter question was phenomenal.
okay. The
That was
Jeter
great.
question. All right. So this is a scenario question. You're a rookie who just got called up. Okay.
Oh
your
yes,
first-
we
your
did touch on
first-
this.
Your first
Yes.
major league appearance. You only get one of them. If you could pick a ballpark that you walk out to the tunnel to for your first major league game, which ballpark would you want that to be?
Excluding
And why?
T-Mobile Field because we are
T-Mobile
all from
Park. You
Park.
say it right.
Safeco Field, T-Mobile Park. I like Safeco Field.
So to
better,
clarify, they said you can't. All 3 of us are from the Pacific Northwest,
so we can't say
so
that.
you cannot say T-Mobile Park. You have to pick another park. Which one would you pick?
I'll go last.
Who you want to go last? You go
We're-
first this time.
we're-
Hold on.
We're all gonna say the same
Mariners
thing.
run differential is minus 24, by the way.
Okay.
And the Astros are plus 55.
Okay, keep going.
And so we touched on this a little bit, and we were like, wait, hold on, let's save this for the show. That is my top answer is Fenway. It's just you go historic. I mean, you walk out and it's just like you're already in like history right there. Like you feel like you're walking into history.
Right.
No matter what you do that night, you're in history. Like I don't know. There's nothing
we
more
got
for
a
me to say.
different answer there. Dodger Stadium. I said Dodger Stadium earlier.
You did say Dodger Stadium or
Okay.
Wrigley, and that's
So
second
so
on the
Aaron,
list for all of us.
So yeah, Aaron Wolf picked both parks. You know
that we all
they're
had
obviously the 2
touched
oldest
on.
too, and so I had Wrigley
Yes.
as my first and Fenway as my second.
I had Fenway as my first, Wrigley as my second.
And if they didn't redo Yankee Stadium, I would have had those 3 as the 3
Yeah.
I would want to debut at.
Yeah.
So I obviously again Wrigley and Fenway were I had 4.
Mhm.
Wrigley and Fenway as the older, just because the historical
Historic.
features and shit.
Yes.
But then I wanted to flip it and kind of go to a modern era at the same time.
One of them would have been Petco Park in San Diego, just because when I was younger, my grandparents owned a condo that overlooked Petco, and you literally
Badass.
could watch the game. And I remember going to a game with my grandpa and stuff. So, and plus on Sundays they wear the Digicam and shit like that. Like it's just cool atmosphere. They bring dogs into the parks and shit. Petco, get it? And then the other one, don't shoot me, but it'd be Houston's new stadium.
The Astros.
Yeah.
I forgot what they call that one, but it's got
Right.
some neat features. It used to have some real gnarly stuff in it.
Yeah.
But they got rid of it.
They used to have the mound in center field that
Yeah,
went
right.
up.
You ran up a hill and a flagpole too, right?
Yeah, but I just think the design of it's cool. You got the
Big gates in left field and
and the wall that kind of comes in and out and all that shit and the train, and I just think imagine being your first game and you hit a home. God forbid, but if you played for Houston and hit a home run, you hear the train go off, and
Yeah.
that'd be freaking nuts.
I changed my answer. I want to play at Sandlot.
Sandlot.
Yeah.
Where those kids in the movie played
Exactly.
with the dog and right. And
Exactly.
I get that.
Go down
So-
to Ford Middle School.
So this is my question when you talk about debuting, but what home park would you love to have if you were drafted by a team, strictly by the stadium?
I don't know what the name of their park is called, but I would want to be a Colorado Rocky.
That's Coors Field, I think.
Coors Field. You're right. It is.
Because if you're
because
hitting
the altitude,
the altitude.
hit more home runs. No, I don't. I'd have to think about it, honestly.
We were talking about it earlier, and I thought, would we land on it was the Diamondback Stadium?
Yeah.
Can't remember. Just
Yeah,
because
that's
of when you step on home plate and you could see out, and like they had that like grass, they got the pool out there, like just be
They
like,
all got grass.
that's a good point.
But
I went out right past center field wall,
yeah,
like where people could sit, and not just a stadium. I don't know.
If I had to give a legit answer, it would be probably Atlanta. Newer Park, a good organization. Plus, I'm from
Georgia.
so that'd be really.
I was gonna say
if
it's
I
just
could
because.
say, I mean, I can call them and ask if they need a guy for if they need to pick up for.
Uh-huh.
I think you do it.
I'd have to call. Where would your home place be?
I'm either taking Miami or LA because the Twale down there just looks a little bit different. The ladies.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got Miami. You got
What about
Brazilian.
Tropicana Field where the Rays play?
That's in St. Petersburg. Yeah.
That's newer though, isn't it? It's within the last
It's a dome.
15 years, isn't it?
So in St. Petersburg, it's a pretty cool place. I actually like going to St. Petersburg, Florida. They've got a nice little beer row where it's all taverns on both sides of the street as you walk down this lane to the stadium. But it's an older dome. It's not.
So you're gonna be
not-
hammered
really?
when you.
I thought it was in
Yeah.
like the last
Taking a
15
play
years or something.
So it's a neat place though. They have to have a dome though because it literally rains for like 1 hour a day. So.
Yeah.
But
It's like Hawaii. That's why people are like, let's go to Hawaii. And I was like, one of the few things I remember about Hawaii is waking up every day and it was just raining. I went there for a week and every morning it rained like an hour to an hour and a half every single morning.
That's kind of what St. Petersburg
Yeah,
is.
the top down in the convertible on my honeymoon, just chilling in the rain. Didn't care. It felt good.
Yeah, well, I went senior year with my friend's family. So.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it'd be Miami or one of the LA teams or San Diego. Just because of when you're done playing after a day or you get a day off.
I would say
No player in Milwaukee says he's happy for a day off so he can go out on the city.
Yeah.
You know.
I will say Petco Park is obviously probably my favorite stadium I've ever been to. I haven't been to a whole bunch of them. Petco Park is really, really cool. Just you walk into it from downtown, and then you walk in. They got I think it's on Sundays. You can bring your dog and stuff. They do military appreciation every Sunday. They got all these different digicam uniforms they wear and all. It's really cool down there. Plus, you can go do all the there's surfing, the naval ships you can go and tour and stuff like that. I mean, maybe it's gay, but whatever.
Plus, they got a good ass team.
This year now, yeah. When I went, they were like one of the worst teams in baseball with the Mariners. They were actually playing the Mariners when I went too. I remember because I pissed my dad off. I came home with like Padre shirts and a Padre necklace, and my dad was like, "Why are you wearing that?" And I was just like,
what?
It was more or less just to like irritate him and my brother. If my brother's watching, I'm sure he remembers that. But anyways, so the last thing, which I actually forgot to bring up before,
highly doubt.
I know you don't have any information on it, Bob. You might, but it's that time of year. You got College World Series going on, but with that, you got the Women's College World Series as well. And our Huskies got fucking dogged on, not in a good way.
Yeah, women deserve sports too.
They were ranked the number 5th team in the country going into Selection Sunday and got the 16 seed in the tournament. So if they win their regional, they'll have to go down to Florida State if they win their regional, play the number 1 team in the country. When realistically, they shouldn't be seen together until they get to Women's College World. So somehow we went from 5 to 16, 5 days.
For fast pitch.
For fast pitch, yes.
So
Our baseball team sucks.
So so for one of my friends who plays with me, she's a Minnesota Golden Gopher. They've came on a little bit in the last couple of years for fast pitch. They got the same thing. They got screwed as well. They were in the top 6 or something one year, and then next thing you know, they're the 14th seed.
Yep.
And it's bullshit.
seems like there's 1 or 2.
It's an East Coast bias. The fast pitch scene is just the same way as as anything else. I will say in fast pitch, at least California teams get cred, and so do Arizona ones. But yeah, anywhere outside of Florida or the South or California, Arizona, it's
But I mean,
no one gets a shot.
We've been top team in the Pac-12 for the
They
last
even have a
number of
national
years.
championship.
Yeah, and we were a game away from a national championship 4 years ago. I don't remember. We got arguably one of the best players in college softball with Sis Bates, who's just a freaking human highlight reel.
Oh, she's phenomenal.
Yeah, they just got fucking shafted.
That's what happens. I mean, the reporters that write about this stuff live in the Sun Belt.
Yeah.
You know, as far as the Sun Belt and referring to the United States. And so, yeah, the people that write about this stuff are in Arizona and California and in the South.
Yeah.
And it sucks. You know, there's no one in the Northwest or the Northeast that is really getting any runtime for writing articles on fast pitch. It's all South and Sun States.
Yeah, and the teams we got coming up for the regional are like, I think Seattle U, Portland State, and then Michigan. I wonder who's going to be in the championship of that.
Michigan's in our region. Do they assign it that way, or?
Yeah, it got assigned
Okay.
that way. I mean, I could probably look at it if I could find it fast enough. But yeah, I don't get how Michigan made it into
The
our region.
regional.
I'll try and find the bracket tonight and post it because it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's a bummer, but
I mean, but I heard them talking on the radio today, and it made a lot of sense too. It's like maybe the dogs will use that as put it as fuel to the fire. You know what I mean? Like, just got completely disrespected by whatever the committee is to do that, however the selection is, and went from 5 to 16, pretty much a matter of minutes.
the plus side is too, though, is that do you want to catch the number one seed when they're fresh into the tournament? Do you want to catch them when they battle off?
And I was thinking about that too, because they were like, well, maybe blah blah blah, and I was like, part of me was like, well, maybe first of all the Huskies will be fresh enough. Your arms are going to be fresh enough. You're going to be coming off your regional. So you're 4 days apart from regional to super regional. And maybe you can get them sleeping coming off of some very lower competition with their regional.
Because I've won this personally, and it's not totally related athletics wise, but I've won more stuff off a shitty Saturday, taking out the top team early in the morning, than I have on a hot Saturday where we played awesome, and then on a Sunday, working our way through being the number one seed and winning out that way. I've won more stuff being shitty and low seed and taking it out than the opposite round. So maybe that's where it goes.
Yeah.
And hopefully it fuels the fire and they take down Florida State and then go from there. So
yeah, that would it'd be nice to get a championship up back in Washington. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got for tonight. I don't know if you guys have anything else or
Go though.
yeah, like I said, guys, it was fun to be in here with you guys and
It was great to
talk
have you in.
sports.
yeah.
Anytime you guys need me.
I was just gonna say we're definitely gonna need to have you back in because it's
it brought up some conversations that we wouldn't even thought of before.
All
just a different perspective coming
aspects,
in.
Yeah, I'll shape all my info from 2010 onwards.
Yeah.
The 80s and 90s are not happening, and I don't blame you guys.
We're gonna say you showed your age pretty well on this show.
Yes, I
compared to us.
did. Yes, I did.
But it's all right. I mean, it's nice to get the different perspectives in and have
yeah.
I mean,
agree.
we get kind of stuck in the same box that we're in every
My brother
show we're
says
doing. So
best show yet.
yeah, seriously.
Well,
I felt
my
like it was a
favorite
great show.
viewer, there's only 4 of them, but my favorite one is Aaron Wolf. So.
He's a midget though.
Huh?
He's a midget.
Yeah.
He's like
Probably the same height as me.
He's my brother, so I make fun of him.
Yeah.
I'm more impressed with his intellectualism as far as his responses.
No,
but
he's the one who pushed sports on me, and you know
Gotcha.
all that. When we get together for family stuff, we pretty much sit in a corner and talk sports while the rest of.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll share it around. Let's see if we can get some late views, through the week. It's kind of what my show does too. I mean, you'll see the 40 or whatnot watching, but when it goes through the week, then it adds up. So.
Yeah, even first starting on here, we definitely got more of an interaction here today with you. And
well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, just having you in and having, like I said, the different perspectives was great. So, like I said, we can get marginalized in this one box that we're in. Then having you come in here with your different takes on it, was really good.
Yeah.
Breath of fresh air for sure.
Yeah, if we get rolling for a couple months and of what you guys are doing and whatnot, and you want to bring me back, just hit me up. I'd love to come in.
Yeah.
Especially if we get out of this COVID era where there's more sports going on.
Yeah.
Even if you guys do something fun where like you do a top lift sports day in the beer garden, it's I keep on calling it Safeco, but it's what is it now called?
T-Mobile Park.
Yeah,
I said it wrong the first time.
Invite me, put it on my page. I'll gladly show up in the beer garden and talk baseball with you guys all day.
That would be fun.
I know that for the Frapples show, we're planning on going up to Everett and watching the Julio kid play.
Yeah.
So you guys are more than welcome to tag along, or not. It's not tag along. Come along.
Yeah.
And because you guys drink way more than I do, so I ain't taking shots and drinking ciders.
I've seen your little what's that thing you used to have on your show?
The flabongo.
That you push the beer through or whatever.
The beer stick.
That's
beer
cool.
stick. That's
those. I've wanted to try those.
I
need to get that.
People
Break
like,
that
put
out.
2 in it.
We need to break one of those out. See if I can get.
I can bring the beer stick too for the next show.
Next show, we're all doing.
If you guys want to
stick.
slam beers and talk sports, we can do that too.
That might be a Friday show.
A dizzy bat
Might
beer
be a
stick.
Friday show. We can do the beer stick, or I got like that. The yard flamingo, this plastic. They cut the beak and it's got a hole in the bottom, so you fill that up and tip it out.
Oh,
so
we're gonna have to do that.
We have both of those if you guys want to get.
All right, so on a Friday coming up, we're definitely doing that.
Yeah, we can do the top left gets crocked with Bob Frapples show.
Yeah.
Just think if we're like, okay, we're drunk doing the show.
We'd be live for like 6 hours and not.
Oh, definitely. I'm down for it. I am down for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Other side notes, just real quick, is that I've been in touch about the short sleeve hoodies again.
Yes, we have.
Sent a number into that today, and then the hats are in progress. And trying to set a date for the cornhole tournament still. I'm kind of waiting for
That's rough.
For our state tournament directors to put dates out. It seems like every time I pick a date, another softball tournament pops up on that weekend. So
yeah.
I ran a cornhole tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Be careful with that.
Yeah, I ran one last year and it was all right.
Did pros show up?
Well, Kyle and his buddy, Kyle, who's commenting on him, him and his buddy showed up. They were pretty good. I wouldn't say any like pros. No.
Okay.
I mean, it wasn't advertised to the softball community. Let's put it that
Okay,
way.
gotcha.
It was through the page. I tried getting everyone on the page who wanted in, filled that up first, and then a couple of my buddies that I knew up. And it was more kind of just like a trial and error type thing. But it was a pretty big tournament. We had like 15 teams or something like that. And a 4-game guarantee, 2-round robin into a bracket. So,
okay.
So it was first place took home. They split just over $350 or something like that. And then second place got money. Me and my partner, we took third. We got our money back. And then we had shirts and barbecue. We had a keg. College football was on. I mean, it was a good time.
Yeah, I did something similar, but I did double limb sessions throughout the day. You had to buy in each time.
Yeah.
And the pros showed up, and it was an ass-kicking fiesta.
Oh, yeah.
Guys were getting beat 21-0.
Yeah.
It was an ass-kicking fiesta.
That's
why I asked.
We're thinking about doing a fundraiser. Talk about this. We're thinking about doing a fundraiser, and then I was like, well, maybe I can do a cornhole tournament at the same time. And I was like, not doing that. I was like, let's just do it on a separate weekend. Because of that. I mean, I want the competition. I think I'm pretty good at cornhole, so I'll accept all the challenges I can. But just for everyone else to have fun and stuff, I want to kind of keep it. But yeah, so as always, appreciate the support, everyone who watched and tuned in, and hopefully the Mariners don't get no hit tomorrow. And
Yeah.
see you next week.
See you next week.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for coming in.